Very good afternoon to all the viewers, but of course, for our global viewers, this may not be an afternoon. They are from different time zones, but it is wonderful to have so many viewers join in on the first day of the 14th edition of our Confluence. We had thousands of live viewers and people who visited this particular site and had joined, interacted, sent their views. It goes without saying that the 14th edition of the World Confluence of Humanity, Power and Spirituality is attracting as much attention as it does in the other years. And thank you once again for undertaking this spiritual journey, this journey of awakening with us. Right at the outset, we would be requesting, let's say, the main power behind this World Confluence, the person whose brainchild this is, and also someone who through his dedication have given such immense significance to the World Confluence. It is getting more and more successful, ignoring even the pandemic and the world-threatening events that followed in the wake of the pandemic. The World Confluence goes from strength to strength. We are talking about Dr. H.P. Gonorrhea, the chairman, and as we all know that he is one of the best known wealth and job creator, a philanthropist whose area of interest, whose humanity extends to all spheres of life. Dr. H.P. Gonorrhea would be making some initial statements, after which we are going into our scheduled speakers. We welcome Dr. Hari Prasad Gonorrhea ji.
Dear brothers and sisters, I am glad to welcome all to the 14th World Confluence of Humanity, Power and Spirituality. On behalf of my family and organization and myself, I wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I deeply express my gratitude to all the eminent speakers for their gracious presence to enlighten years. The deliverance will imbibe and ignite spirituality in years. My thanks to all the viewers, for my heartfelt thanks to all the viewers also for getting enlightened to the spirituality and to knowing the duty which they have to perform perfectly and utterly and with devotion. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hari Prasad Gonorrhea, welcoming all the viewers all across the world. And now we have Shri Sunil Gonorrhea, who would be welcoming and making the initial address.
Good afternoon, everyone, distinguished speakers and participants. Thank you very much for all being present today virtually in this year's spirituality conference. This is this conference started in 2010 by my father as a conglomeration of humanity, power, and spirituality. In our lives, all these three are important as we evolve as human beings. And this has an impact on us in our behavior, in our thoughts, and in our actions. Therefore, it becomes important to understand what the implications of these are, how do we address and manage our lives better, which will help us to be good to our own self and evolve our own self, along with that helping our environment and society where we live in. And that was the purpose with which my father started many years back. He has taught us and helped us in our journey of life to face any kind of challenges which comes across in our lives, to be able to address them much better without getting stressed, and seeing how we can work towards the benefit of all. And that's the reason why even our overall motto as a family has been work with devotion. We have to do our right action and leave the rest to the supreme energy who drives all of us as one. Friends, in the past 11, 12 years, we've had major world leaders come and address all of us. We have been learning all through our journey through this conference. Even yesterday, we had great leaders who shared their perspectives from all spaces of life, whether it is religion, whether it is politics, whether it is business, or spiritual leaders who have come and shared their perspectives. I'm sure we have been gaining all this knowledge, which is helping us in our lives. I would only say one thing, which has been has got kind of imbibed in me personally by my father, and by getting ourselves exposed to these teachings of leading leaders, is basically everything we all talk about is our own energy and our thoughts. From our energy, our thoughts emanate. If our thoughts are positive, if our thoughts are clean, whatever we do, it'll be good. It will be for the good. We don't have to really look at what the results of it is. And we are nothing but a soul of energy. And how do we treat that? Like in a hard disk, whatever you put in, that will be there. And if you clean it up, reboot it, we can do that. And therefore, we say that meditation, yoga, these exercises, these mechanisms are a way by which we keep rebooting ourselves. So let us use this opportunity to learn, reboot ourselves, get new perspectives of life, get the knowledge which we can adopt. Even if a few pieces of learning we can take from these programs and events, it will help us in our lives a lot. I think that's where I have believed in the last so many years of these events and programs. And I'm sure all of you will take this as an opportunity to take home some of the learnings and build it in your life. With this, thank you very much. And I wish you a great interaction with all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shri Sunil Gonorrhea ji. Very important words that he said, that this is our annual rebooting, just as we reboot a computer after upgrading the hard disk. So actually this spiritual recharge has been continuing since 2010, as also mentioned by Sri Sunil Gonorrhea. And in these years, in these 14 sessions, we have often had some of the most distinguished spiritual leaders come repeatedly, multiple times in our Confluence. Acharya, Dr. Lokesh Muni is one of them. And we are indeed very proud, very privileged to have him once again with us in our 14th edition. He is a very versatile person, thinker, writer, poet, social reformer, and he has continuously been making efforts in national character building, in the development of human values, establishing ahimsa or non-violence. In fact, he has walked 20,000 kilometers by feet in his endeavor to remove social evils like female feticide, drug addiction, and many other such scourges. So we welcome Acharya Dr. Lokesh Muni, and we await his address.
सबसे पहले मैं इस 2 दिवसीय कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए शेरी और कनोडिया फाउंडेशन के संस्थापक भाई कनोडिया जी को बहुत बहुत बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूं कि कोविड काल के बीच में भी उन्होंने देश और दुनिया के श्रेष्ठतम स्पीकर का चयन करके इस सेमिनार का वेबिनार के माध्यम से आयोजन किया है। सचमुच में आध्यात्मिक शक्ति, मानवीय मूल्य, इन सब की चर्चा जब हम कर रहे हैं और खासकर कोविड की महामारी के बाद जब सारी दुनिया इससे प्रभावित और भयाक्रांत है, ऐसे माहौल के बीच में निश्चित रूप से हमारे वो महान मूल्य, आध्यात्मिक मूल्य, आध्यात्मिक शक्ति, मानवीय मूल्य और खास करके अगर मैं वेलनेस की चर्चा करूं, इन्हीं आध्यात्मिक मूल्यों के अंतर्गत चाहे हम योग की चर्चा करें, मेडिटेशन की चर्चा करें और सबसे बड़ी सकारात्मक सोच, पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग की चर्चा करें, आज सबसे बड़ा संबल इस माहौल में कोई बन रहा है। न केवल भारत बल्कि दुनिया भर में इन सारी चीजों के प्रति एक आकर्षण बढ़ा है और लोग बड़ी आशा भरी निगाहों से उस ओर देख रहे हैं। हमारा महान भारत देश अनेकता में एकता जिसकी मौलिक विशेषता है, सर्वधर्म सद्भाव जिसका मूल मंत्र है और अनेक आध्यात्मिक शक्तियां इस भूखंड से उन्होंने पूरी दुनिया को आलोकित किया है अपने विचारों से। लेकिन आज सही परिप्रेक्ष्य में धर्म को भी समझने की जरूरत है। धर्म के 3 आयाम है, पहला उपासना, दूसरा नैतिकता और तीसरा अध्यात्म। मैं भाई कनोडिया जी को इस बात के लिए भी उनका अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं कि उन्होंने इसी बिंदु को जानते हुए कि केवल उपासना को ही धर्म मान लेने से धर्म का तेजस्वी स्वरूप समाज में दृष्टिगोचर नहीं हो पाता है। अपेक्षा है धर्म का दूसरा आयाम हमारे जीवन में नैतिक और चारित्रिक मूल्यों का समावेश हो, मानवीय मूल्यों का समावेश हो। मैं देखता हूं सामने उनके सुपुत्र जो बहुत अच्छे ढंग से इन कार्यक्रमों को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं और मेरे परम आत्मीय मित्र इंग्लैंड से गुरुजी राज राजेश्वर जी जहां पर मौजूद हैं, मैं अवश्य रूप से ये कहना चाहूंगा कि जीवन में जब नैतिक चारित्रिक मूल्यों का समावेश होता है और उससे भी अगला कदम है जब अध्यात्म का अवतरण होता है, तो निश्चित रूप से हमारी दुनिया खूबसूरत बनती है। आज अपेक्षा इस बात की है कि केवल इन मूल्यों की दुहाई नहीं दी जाए। कोविड काल में ये दर्शन भी लोगों को बहुत आसानी से समझ में आया है। पहले लोग जैसे हमारे प्राचीन मूल्यों को नहीं समझ पाते, लोग मुझे भी पूछा करते कि ये क्या लगा रखा है, ये मुंह पर मुखवस्त्री जैन परंपरा में जिसे कहा जाता है, आज बिना लगाए जाए तो सड़क पे पुलिस वाला पूछता है ये क्यों नहीं लगा रखा है। हमारे जो प्राचीन मूल्य हैं, चाहे मेडिटेशन है, चाहे योग है, चाहे नेचुरोपैथी है, चाहे आयुर्वेद है, और बल्कि मैं तो ये कहना चाहूंगा भारत की तो जो रसोई परंपराएं भी जो है वो इतने साइंटिफिक ढंग से हमारे पूर्वजों ने उसका निर्धारण किया। और यही कारण है कि कोविड काल में इम्यून सिस्टम को मजबूत रखने के लिए वो काफी उपयोगी हुआ। तो उसी तरह से हमारा आध्यात्मिक इम्यून सिस्टम वो मजबूत बने, और उसके लिए इस प्रकार की चर्चाएं बहुत उपयोगी हैं। हम प्रतिवर्ष कनोडिया जी के निमंत्रण पर, शहरी के निमंत्रण पर एकत्रित हुआ करते थे, कभी कोलकाता में, कभी दिल्ली में, किंतु इस समय ये दूरियां बढ़ गई और जो उसके जो नियम से हैं उनको सामने देखते हुए ऑनलाइन कार्यक्रम करना पड़ रहा है हम सबको। लेकिन मैं ये अवश्य इस बात पर जोर देना चाहूंगा कि आज कनोडिया जी जो वर्षों से अलग जगा रहे थे जिन मूल्यों की, आज वो मूल्य जो है लोगों को न केवल ग्राह्य हो रहे हैं बल्कि अच्छे से समझ में भी आ रहे हैं। आज अपेक्षा है हम धर्म को अध्यात्म से जोड़ें, धर्म को विज्ञान से जोड़ें, धर्म को समाज सेवा से जोड़ें और धर्म को सामाजिक कुरीतियों के निवारण का माध्यम बनाएं, तब वो उसका तेजस्वी स्वरूप समाज में दृष्टिगोचर होगा। मैं अधिक लंबा समय नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि अनेक श्रेष्ठ वक्ता यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं। मैंने जैसे कहा, लंदन से गुरुजी राज राजेश्वर जी अनेक बार हम साथ मिलकर के कार्यक्रम भारत में भी करते हैं, इंग्लैंड में भी करते हैं। मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि आज हम सबको मिलकर के पूरी दुनिया आशा भरी निगाहों से इन मूल्यों की ओर देख रही है। ऐसे के अंदर भाई कनोडिया जी जो वर्षों से अलग जगाए रहे हैं, निश्चित रूप से वो अभिनंदन के पात्र हैं। मैं अहिंसा विश्व भारती संस्था की ओर से, जैन धर्म की ओर से उनका, और भावी पीढ़ी हमारे सामने मौजूद है, उनके सुपुत्र जिस तरह से कार्य कर रहे हैं और उन मूल्यों की अलग जगा रहे हैं, आज अपेक्षा है उसे हम जन जन तक पहुंचाएं। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अपनी बात को संपन्न करूंगा। ओम अरहत।
Dr. Lokesh Muni, Acharya Dr. Lokesh Muni, we have this question for you.
Yeah.
In fact, lots of people have been asking that since we are going through a very special time, the pandemic, maybe it's not raging at this point, maybe it is now on the wane, but still things are very difficult, and this difficulty is something which is homogeneous. It's happening all over the world. So the question that people are asking to spiritual leaders, socially aware, social awakeners like you, is that has the pandemic somehow or other, I mean, it has a lot of, it has mostly done bad things, but has it somehow led to a regeneration of spirituality? So this is the question that many of our viewers are asking.
नहीं, बिल्कुल बहुत ही सही कहा है हमारी संयोजिका ने। ये कोविड काल में निश्चित रूप से अनेक वस्तुओं का अध्यात्म के क्षेत्र में भी और सामाजिक क्षेत्र में भी मूल्यों का पुनर्जागरण, पुनर्उदय हो रहा, और व्यक्ति जो हवा में उड़ रहा था, कहीं न कहीं अपने मूल्यों को बुला रहा था, इस आर्थिक आपाधापी के युग के अंदर वो मजबूर हुआ है पुनः अपनी जड़ों की ओर लौटने के लिए, उन मूल्यों की ओर लौटने के लिए। हमने देखा है, भारत की अगर मैं बात करूं, लॉकडाउन के बाद में हमने आकाश को साफ देखा, गंगा जी को निर्मल होते हुए देखा, यमुना जी को स्वच्छ होते हुए देखा। जो अपने बच्चों से बतिया नहीं पा रहे थे, अपने वृद्ध माता पिता से बात करने का समय नहीं होता था, वे लोग पुनः जो है अपने परिवार को समय देने लगे। लोगों का एक आकर्षण बढ़ रहा है वेलनेस के प्रति, योगा के प्रति, मेडिटेशन के प्रति, आयुर्वेद के प्रति, नेचुरोपैथी के प्रति, ऑर्गेनिक के प्रति, और आत्मा परमात्मा का भी स्मरण हो रहा है, क्योंकि उसे समझ में आ गया कि पैसे से स्वास्थ्य नहीं मिल सकता। व्यक्ति एक एक सांस के लिए तरस करके रह गया था। ऐसे के अंदर यह सही समय है अपने उन मूल्यों को, प्राचीन मूल्यों को मैं अगर भारत की बात करूं, यहाँ पर मृत्यु दर कम रहा, उसका एक बड़ा कारण है हमारी भारत की रसोई परंपरा। हमारी ये प्राचीन समय से ही उन पदार्थों का जो हमारे इम्यून सिस्टम को मजबूत बनाते हैं। साथ साथ में मैं, चूंकि अभी जब नए नए वेरिएंट सामने आ रहे हैं, मैं आपके इस सेमिनार के माध्यम से देश और दुनिया से जो लोग जुड़े हुए हैं कहना चाहूंगा, हम डरे नहीं कोरोना से, लेकिन सतर्क और सावधान रहें, पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग को रखें, सकारात्मक सोच को रखें, विधायक भाव को रखें, और जिन चीजों से यह अधिक फैलता है उसके प्रति सतर्क और सावधान रहें। तो निश्चित रूप से, और साथ साथ में हम अपनी जीवन शैली जो है, संयम आधारित जीवन शैली, भारतीय सनातन मूल्य आधारित जीवन शैली को जीवन में स्थान दें। निश्चित रूप से हम कोरोना को भी परास्त करेंगे, कोरोना को भी हराएंगे, लेकिन उसके लिए हमें अपनी जड़ों की ओर लौटना होगा, हमें अपने प्राचीन मूल्यों की ओर लौटना होगा, हमें अध्यात्म की ओर लौटना होगा, और ऐसा करके हम पुनः स्वस्थ समाज का निर्माण, स्वस्थ विश्व का निर्माण कर सकेंगे।
Thank you so much. A very, very important message from Acharya Dr. Lokesh Muni, that we must all return to our roots. That is the lesson that coronavirus, that the pandemic has taught us. And definitely, that is the only option which we can, which we have in front of us. Thank you once again. We would now be inviting our next speaker, His Holiness Shri Raj Rajeshwar Guruji. His Holiness Shri Raj Rajeshwar Guruji has joined us from London, so we would be wishing him a good morning. It's still morning there, I suppose. Yes. He is an internationally renowned spiritual leader and founder of the International Siddhashram Shakti Center, which was founded in the year 2000, although Guruji has been living in London since 1993. And he is one of the most revered and followed gurus of spiritual gurus of our times, and has received a number of awards, a number of recognitions. We are indeed privileged to have you with us today, Shri Raj Rajeshwar Guruji, and we are awaiting your most valuable perceptions of spirituality.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Guruve sadam purnamadev tulyam prano vadarya vahitam sadevam chintam vichintam bhavamek rupam Gururve pranamyam, Gururve pranamyam. I would like to say thank you to Madhumati ji, H.P. Kanoria ji, Sunil Kanoria ji, Dr. Rahul ji, who invited me for this 14th World Confluence of Humanity, Power and Spirituality. This is the very, very important subject, which is people should know, people should learn. Doesn't matter if they are religion or if they are non-religion. Humanity is so important. If you are eating and in front of you, other person is hungry, so what is our responsibility as a humanity? We have to feed them. First thing. Second thing, we have to learn ourselves from our religion. Doesn't matter. You are Hindu, you are Sanatani, you are Sikh, you are Jain, or you are a Buddhist, whoever you are. The principle with this organization, the three fundamental points, which is I really like it. Because many people have lots of knowledge. Many people, they do a lot of dharmic practice, religious practice. According to my experience, many people, they are doing a lot of fasting. They are doing a lot of chanting. But from the life, there is a lack of humanity. So our responsibility first is the humanity. The second word, which is this organization have a power. I believe without power, there is no light in our life. Also, where we are at the moment, without power, we cannot even communicate through the Zoom. Same way, in a materialistic life, you need the power. But in a spiritual life as well, you need the spiritual power. And that will receive from the saints, gurus, acharyas, and many others, spiritual leaders. As per our dear friend, Acharya Lokesh Muniji from Delhi, we did 2-3 programs in Mumbai, in Agra, in Ahmedabad, many others. He is very gentleman, he is very kind to support that event. That event's called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Acharya Lokesh Muniji, he is not only saints, but I believe, according to my experience, he has a lot of humanity value in his life. So that all power is coming from where? So the power is coming from spiritual practice, from the meeting and greeting different saints, learning from our own scriptures. Many people said, we believe Lord Krishna, we believe Buddha, we believe Mahavira, we believe Lord Shiva. That is your belief. At the same time, you should learn from the history of the life. And that is increase your humanity and power. In a spiritual life, current situation is in a COVID everywhere. COVID was questioning the Lord. The Lord, I am powerful than you. God was laughing. COVID said, why? How are you powerful? He said, look, I have power. I closed all the temples and places of worship worldwide. No one can go. If I am not there, then they can go, but I am exist everywhere in the worldwide. God was laughing. And God said, doesn't matter. You close all the place of worship outside of the house. But God said, what I did, I opened each and every house, the temple. I open each and every house is a temple. So never challenge the God. The power of God, that is unlimited. Whatever the COVID and all the different virus we are going through, that is a test. Whatever we did in the past, we did not love the nature. We break all the natures and we make buildings and so many things. So the natures take revenge at the moment. So we have to pay for it. But you don't have to be scared. You have to protect yourself. How? Through the power. Doctor said you have to take tablet for the immune system. You have to take vaccine for the immune system. You have to take many precautions for the immune system. That is only for physical body. But what about mentally? Immune system will grow up through the power. And that power you can receive from the universe through the chanting, do the meditation, do the yoga, meeting and greeting all the leaders around you. Do not think this leader is like that and that leader is like that. I give you one example. If the postman come to you and they give you the post, did you ask the postman, what is your caste? Did you ask the postman where you born? Did you ask the postman where you are going? Did you ask the postman how many children you have? No, we don't ask. The postman come front of you, front of your door, office or home, and they give you the parcel. The postman duty giving you something. The same way, all the leaders, gurus, acharya is like a postman. They are giving you something as a spirituality power. They're giving you something that is a knowledge. They're giving you something to boost your immune system mentally. So when you boost your immune system mentally, you will fight. So physical immune system is very important through the medical, and the mental immune system is very important through the meditation. The third point is spirituality. What is a spirituality? And I really like this organization because the 3 points they cover: the humanity, power, and the spirituality. The spirituality is beyond the religion. It's called, if there is a religion, then you call dharma. And the spirituality is like ocean, adhyatmikta. And when there is a adhyatmikta, when there is a spirituality, you respect each other. Doesn't matter you belong to which religion. Is a spirituality. If you have drop of spirituality in your heart, you will respect everyone. If someone doing better than you, don't put them down. If someone's doing better than you, you try to do better than them, and that is called the spirituality. In around the world, there is a lot of jealousy. This saint is like that, that guru is like that, that acharya is like that. That means you don't have spirituality in your heart. To increase the spirituality in your heart, you have to do satsang. You have to meet and greet the many people. You have to encourage your children. You have to encourage your devotees. You have to encourage your village. You have to encourage your state. You have to encourage your nation. You have to encourage around the world, and then come Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and that a drop of the spirituality come in your heart, the fight will be over. So today, Gonorrhea ji, Sunil Gonorrhea ji, Acharya Lokesh Muni ji, Dr. Rahul ji, and the Dr. Rahul ji who invited me. Every year he tried to contact me, and this unfortunately, I was in India. I just came yesterday, and I messaged Dr. Rahul ji. I said, please send me the link. So I would like to join, because it's my fault if I don't. I will miss if I don't join this meeting. And HP Gonorrhea ji is very kind. He visited our Siddhashram. He invited me personally. And I remember there is a mayor, Karima ji, Councillor Karima ji. She was the mayor in that time in Harrow Borough, Harrow Council. In that time is also, he invited me. I would like to do humble pranam to Gonorrhea ji and Acharya Lokesh Muni ji. The bridge between us and myself, Madhumati ji Maitra. I was listening. She was doing very good anchoring. So I wish you all the best, Madhumati ji. This is a great opportunity, which is people should learn. Now I would like to invite everyone to London after the COVID and everything is cooled down. And we'll do one program, get together in the British Parliament or the Council. As Madhumati ji told me, I'm the founder and spiritual leader of International Siddhashram Shakti Center. I have two organizations, which is one in the UK and one in India, Gujarat. And our motto is a spiritual culture and a community. And that is our motto, to help each other. We're closely working with the Metropolitan Police We are closely working with the Home Office, and we are closely working with the local council. And the great opportunity, we are making the new temple in United Kingdom, and the cost will be about £4 million. And that is not only place of worship, that is a humanity center. So we are going to cover spiritual, cultural, our art from India. We are going to promote that. And the community, we are going to support the community. I would like to say thank you to all the members. I would like to say thank you and humble pranam to our dear friend Acharya Lokesh Muniji and Madhumati ji. You are the bridge between the meeting and us. So I wish you all the best and have a nice day. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you so much, Guruji. And today, as you know, that it is not yet half an hour that we have started the second day of the Confluence. We already have almost 400 viewers, live viewers with us today, and about 700 people have been visiting us off and on. And they are also sending us questions in our chat box, right? So once again, we would request all our viewers to go on sending your queries, and whenever we have someone like you, Guruji, we would be seeking answers to that, to those questions. Now, you said very beautifully, very eloquently that the doctors are trying to boost our immunity, which is our physical immunity, the immunity of the body, the immune system of the body.
Yes.
But as you said, that spirituality, the power that comes from within, would help us to boost our spiritual immunity. And we all know that how important that is, because you know, the mind very often controls the body, as even the doctors, the scientists tell us that at times it is our thoughts that control the hormonal secretions of our body. So it is very, very important to remain strong mentally in such times as this, as you mentioned. So you said that meditation is very important, one of the medicines that we need for boosting our spiritual immune system. Can you be a little more specific? I mean, for a person who has never done meditation, how would he or she go about it?
Very good question, Madhumati ji. Meditation, the simple words which is connected with mind. Physical body is very important because the mind within the mind within the body. Now, science did everything, but until now, science could not find where is the mind. Second point, science could not make the blood. The third point, science don't know where is the soul. And the three is connected with our mind. So the mind and heart is only about 1.5 feet distance. But when we do the meditation, if your body is a 5 feet or 6 feet, they will take you 5,000 kilometers in deeper. So meditation, the people, if they don't know how to do meditate, if the people know how to achieve the meditation power, they should find the right guru in the life. Without guru, you can do from the Google, you can do from the YouTube, you can do from the Facebook, but they give you only information. They cannot give you the power one-to-one.
Right.
So the meditation means thoughtless mind. Meditation means, many people, they're asking me, because I'm running the 2 programs on the Sanskar TV worldwide, one called Spiritual Journey on 8:40 in the evening, and one called Santa Sandesh. So many people, they're asking the question. But my point, when you don't know, when you even you try to do meditation, but you don't know how to do. The first of all, when you try to close your eye and when you try to balance your body, first thing will come, unnecessary thoughts in your mind.
Right.
Even more thoughts will come. And the experience of my life, when you do the meditation, you will focus in your mind, who is your enemy? Who is your friend? Why he's do that? If the girlfriend is doing that, if the wife is doing that, if the boyfriend is doing that, if my boss is doing something like that. So all the thoughts is coming in your mind. So what do you have to do? If you welcome one thoughts, they create 20 thoughts. If you welcome two thoughts, they create 40 thoughts. So the principle is that you are sitting in your room and someone knocked the door. If you open them, they will come in your room. But if you ignore them, they knock 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, they will wait for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they go away. The same way, when you do the meditation, you ignore the thoughts. Doesn't matter they are coming, you ignore. When you try to ignore, in 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you will try to feel relaxed in your mind. And then slowly, slowly, like when you try to learn the bicycle when you are a child. In the bicycle, you are doing 3 things together. 1, you are trying to drive. 2nd, you are trying to pedaling. And 3rd, you are trying to balance yourself. So that you cannot learn in one day. Many times you're falling down, your feet is hurting, and your there's many things happen. So slowly, slowly, when you try to learn the bicycle, you will balance, you will drive, and you will pedal 3 things together. You will do same way. So when you try to meditate, the thoughts, if you ignore, you try to do meditate, you balance your body. But many people, they do the when they try to do meditation, they sit like that. It's like a laziness. But if you keep straight, the universe signal will come forcefully through your sahasrara, because in the body there is a 7 chakras. The starting from the Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahat, Visuddha, Anahat, and then sahasrara. The 7 chakras. So we call in the spiritual world, we call is a Muladhara to sahasrara ki yatra. Is a journey between Muladhara to sahasrara. When this is the clear, automatically you will find amazing power. That is called meditation.
Thank you so much. But as you said, that one needs a guru to guide you through this difficult path of meditation. Thank you so much, and it was wonderful listening to you.
Thank you. Humble pranam to everyone.
And after Guruji, we move on to our next speaker. Once again, I'm sure all of you have been watching when we had first started the live stream. We had been showing you images from our journey, which started in 2010. And one lady was there in all our sessions, a person who had become one of the faces of the world confluence of humanity, power, and spirituality. And she is Dame Professor Meher Master Moose. And throughout these 14 sessions, Dame Professor Meher Master Moose has remained unchanged in her dedication to spirituality and, of course, her love for us, because she has always said yes to us whenever we had invited her. She is the president of the Zoroastrian College in Mumbai, and one of the most dynamic personalities with multiple feathers in her cap. She has done her community and our nation proud in keeping with her path-breaking achievements. In fact, she was the first Parsi woman to have graduated in law from Oxford University, England, and the first Asian to be granted the Barber Scholarship for Law Studies, the youngest and the first non-white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, or WASP as they are called, woman to be appointed as Assistant Law Professor at the University of Manitoba, Canada, and there are so many firsts in her career. But today we are indeed privileged to once again have the opportunity of listening to Dame Professor Meher Master Moose. Thank you, ma'am. Can we?
Thank you, all of you. Krishna Taurai Masdao, Namasata Atash Masdao Rao, Hudao, Mazishta Yazata, Hashem Mohu, Vaishte Masti, Ushtasti, Ushtamai. Yatashai Vaishtai Hashem. May the blessings of Pak Dada Uramazda, all the Amesha Spenta, all the Yazata, all the Farokshi Faroha, the Mino, Dai, Ratu, Vakshure, Vakshuran, Ramsko, Shus, Pitaman, Zatrushta Paigamba Sahib, Shah Beram Vazavan Sahib, the Prince of Peace of the Aquarian Age, all the good and holy departed souls of all the good and holy departed saints and founders of faiths and our own family members, the grandparents and parents of all of us present here, may they all bestow their blessings on our very dear Dr. Hari Prasad Gonorrhea ji and his gracious wife Champa Ben and all their family members. It is a matter of great joy that this year, 2021, he had the good providence and blessing from the Creator to become, for he and his wife to become great grandparents. It is an achievement which only God can give to a great soul. His son, Hemant, his grandson, Raghav, who is a member of the Zoroastrian College, gave birth to the eldest great-grandson named Shiv this year. And may I congratulate Dr. Hari Prasad Gonorrhea ji on all his achievements, including this confluence through which he has for the last full decade, since 2010 and over a decade, 2021, every year produced this marvelous gathering of great personalities and humble persons who are appreciating the great work that he is doing to bring about upliftment of humanity through spirituality, through all that he is doing for humanity. It is his spiritual power, his good nature, his magnificence that he gives from the largest of his heart that is giving the ripples of goodwill and uplifting the economy of the poorest of the poor people of India, for which I salute him and his family. Let me thank him and all his family members and all the staff, and especially Dr. Rahul Verma, who is the key person of bringing about all the wonderful confluences that we have had for so many years. Let me congratulate the entire team, including especially Madhumanti, who has always been the anchor for all the confluences. Now, to begin with, may I say a very happy New Year 2022 to come. Greetings for the new year, that it may be completely free of COVID and all enjoy good health. We have to congratulate Dr. Hari Prasad ji and also Dr. Rahul Gonorrhea that during the past year or two, this last year or half, they have brought in yet one more NGO from India into the United Nations. This is a great achievement because there are less than 2,000 or 3,000 NGOs in the whole world that have been given this prestigious position of being acknowledged as a ECOSOC NGO at the UN. So let me congratulate Dr. Hari Prasad Gonorrhea ji for this achievement and also Dr. Rahul Verma. Now, may I speak about what we stand for? Covering the picture. Zoroastrian College is a spiritual white light center for helping people not only in India, but all countries of the world. And what is the spirituality? It is to achieve the purpose of life for which every soul takes birth on planet Earth. We are evolving souls at the level of the mineral kingdom, the plants, the animals, the fish and the birds, and the human beings. And we continue evolving upwards to becoming angelic beings and higher spiritual beings until we attain the purpose of our soul taking birth on earth, to become one with the pure white light of the creator of the universe. We Zoroastrians worship Aura Mazda, the creator of the universe, as a force of light. Light dispels darkness. Light is the illumination which is empowering spirituality. Light gives the inner voice of conscience to every soul to help humanity. It is this light that we endeavor to achieve. And this spiritual white light center, we are trying our level best to bring it about into reality. And thanks to Dr. Hari Prasad ji, we laid the foundation of the building, the first of 6 buildings, where people can come and stay and experience this center for spirituality, where by the power of mantra, whether we use Avesta mantra, or we use Sanskrit mantra, or we use Jain mantra, mantra power is mantra power. It is the sound power of the vibrations which transforms darkness into light, impurity into purity. So we can transform Earth planet, which has been ruined and spoiled by the detonation of atomic bombs through radioactivity and other nuclear reactivities. We can clean and transform the water and make it pure and clean, as has been done in the former Soviet Union by that great scientist, Dr. Viktor Ilyushin, who took this knowledge from us, from India, and he was the only scientist in the whole of former Soviet republics and in the whole world who succeeded in cleaning the water of the nuclear contaminated water and soil of the Tish River flowing from China through Kazakhstan into the North Arctic Ocean. And he was so loyal to India and to us to give him this awareness and knowledge of mantra power that he came to India in 1999 and 2000 and said that he would give this knowledge for the benefit of humanity, for the people of all the world, so that everyone can have the benefit of clean water, purified water, using only natural methods. Inexpensive. Every villager can have clean well water. He came, he put the demonstration equipment in the well of our college compound, and he said to people that the American scientists had offered him £1 million way back in 1997 to share his technology with them, and he had refused, saying that he would give it only to our country, India, through our college, because that's where he got the knowledge from. That is scientist, and that is loyalty. That is humanity and humanitarianism, and that is spirituality. Here is a man who was true to his conscience, to that still tiny voice which spoke from within him and said that do the right thing. And this is what we in the Zoroastrian College are endeavoring to spread and promote. Our holy prophet, Paigambar Sahib, Ashos Pitama Zarathustra, taught the path to achieve union with the pure white light of the Creator, a practical path which every man and woman can practice, of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Head, words, mouth, and deeds, hand. If we practice this every moment of our lives, then step by step, we can come closer to God. Because we respect all the beings, all the living beings, not only the people, but every living creature. That it is an evolving soul and we should not harm it or hurt it, we should help it to evolve. What is humanity doing? Is it helping every creature to evolve? They're using animals for the most horrible tests, the pharmaceutical companies, to make medicines for human beings, killing millions of chimpanzees and torturing dogs. For what? Do they think that the reactions of animals are the same as those of the human bodies? That they should torture and kill animals for the sake of pretending to create medicine for human beings? This is not humanity. We should lend our helping hand and do duty for the duty's sake. Whatever we do, we should do it with selfless altruism, with no ulterior motive. As was said by the poet Shakespeare, be true unto yourself. Unto thyself be true. Thou canst not then be false to any man. This powerful saying of a great English poet resonates with the teachings of our Paigambar Sahib. And it is the same message that has been given by every faith, every Paigambar, every religious leader, every Nabi, every saint. No religious teacher has ever said to his followers, be bad. Everyone has said, be good. Practice good thoughts, good words, good deeds, and become a good human being, like our greatly and highly respected Dr. Gonorrhea Sahib, and many of us present here, all gathered together in the power of goodness. That is true power. Education is power for helping others Spiritual education is power for soul's enlightenment, because spirituality transcends religion. You will find the core of thread of spirituality binding all the religions. It's a current which runs through all. In our Mazdesi Zatrushtian Dhyana, we are given the knowledge and awareness of the 7 Amesha Spentas, who are, like the Christians would say, archangels. In Sanskrit, we would say deities. These Amesha Spentas and their helpers, the 30 Yazatas, help each and every soul as team. This is the spiritual organization of the universe, the government of the universe, through which we are all controlled. It is the cosmic laws, the divine universal natural laws, which govern all the souls and help all the souls to evolve equally upwards. And those who do not obey the voice of conscience regress spiritually towards darkness, and they only harm themselves. So in Namaste Zatrushtian Dhyana, the ethical basis is of righteousness. To attain perfection and immortality, freedom from the cycles of rebirths on planet Earth, freedom from the wheel of karma by practicing the law of dharma. And in this, we say our 3 most powerful prayers. I have just recited for you the Ashem Vahu, which is the prayer for purity. Purity is the highest good. He who is pure for the sake of purity gains spiritually in white light, golden halo. What each of us, the purpose of our life on earth is to gain the golden halo in our aura by practicing. Yes, surely you can practice chakra meditation, and surely you can go on this yantra between the Muladhara chakra and the top of the head, the 1,000-petal lotus. But that will not gain you the golden halo. Only righteousness, ethical thoughts, good words, lending a helping hand to everybody, that will help to gain your golden halo. The second most powerful prayer that we have, it's a very ancient Avestan prayer, is the Yatha Ahu Veryo. I will recite it for you. Yatha Ahu Veryo Atharatush Ashat Chithacha Vangeush Dastavanangaho Shauthananam Angeush Masdai Shatrem Chai Ahurai Aim Dregubyo Dadat Vastarim. This prayer gives you the power. It is a spiritual powerhouse. Any difficulty that you face, anytime, anywhere, any place, by reciting this Yatha Ahu Veryo prayer, the divine protection comes to you. The grace of God comes to you. Your difficulties will vanish. Your enemies will be transformed into your friends. Those who are harming you will come forth to lend a helping hand, realizing their own mistakes. When the Parsi refugees were fleeing from Iran and were coming to the shores of India, a terrific tempest storm came up in the oceans. And the all the ships would have been sunk. Not a single person would have reached the shores of India. And what was their purpose? To build and create a fire temple in India so that the ancient methods and ways of purification of soil, water, and air would be preserved for posterity, for helping humanity in later times. It was the power of the Yatha Aho Vairyo that saved those ships. And the people landed on the shores of India. And as we all know, as is historically recorded, it was the kind and good-hearted Hindu Raja of Sanjan who gave them shelter and gave them vast lands to practice agriculture and develop the nation of his kingdom, develop the people of his kingdom. That is the greatness of Hindu Dharma. Now I will recite a short prayer from the Gathas. Zarathustra are 17 verses where the power of the sound creates white light. And the most powerful of all of them is the idea no issue. Chapri. Even the Chapri. The idea ratio is Ha54, which is the sacred numeral 9. Idea ratio, Rafendrai Jamtu, Neribiascha, Neribiascha, Zarathustra, Vangehush, Rafendrai Manango, Yadaina Virim Hanat Misnim, Ashahaya Yasa Ashim. Yanim Ishyanam Auro Mazata Mazdao. These gathas, the slim book, are so powerful that they are meant for the whole of humanity, for all mankind. This is not the property of any religion or particular race or sect. It is not to be kept in selfishly in the pockets of the Parsis of India. It is this knowledge. This power is meant to be spread throughout the world. And it is thanks to the greatness of enlightened beings like Dr. Hari Prasad Ji, who enables us to spread this awareness, spread this knowledge globally, worldwide, through holding such magnificent confluences. In our Zoroastrian college, we have an invocation to light, which we recite on the terrace of our building every morning at sunrise. We eat the sun. If you want to develop yourself with good health of body, mind, and soul, the best food is sunshine, sunlight. All the 12 colors of the sunlight enrich every atom of your physical body. You cannot have bad health. This COVID virus was run away from people who practice eating the sun. There's a technique of breathing, 7 breaths in, pause for a second, 7 breaths out, pause for a second, and repeat 4 times for every color of the 12 colors. At the end of your 15-minute session with the sun, you've enriched yourself with good health. Now I will recite to you the Zoroastrian College morning prayer, which is for the benefit of universal evolution of all the souls living on planet Earth. May the light from the stars and the light from the planets, the light from the sun and the light coming via the moon to our beautiful planet Earth go deep within the bowels of the earth. May the cosmic light help each and every soul to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. May the cosmic light help all the souls of the mineral kingdom, the gases of the atmosphere and the minerals of the soil to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. May the cosmic light help all the souls of the plants and vegetation kingdom to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. May the cosmic light help all the evolving souls, including the bacteria and the germs and the viruses, to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. You see, if the COVID virus is transformed with happiness and joy, it ceases to exist. It can't do any harm. May the cosmic light help all the evolving souls of the worms and insects, including the 6-legged and the 8-legged and the 100-legged centipedes, to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. May the cosmic light help all the souls of the fish and all the living creatures under the waters to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. May the cosmic light help all the souls of the birds and the bees and all the flying creatures of the air to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. May the cosmic light help all the souls of all the reptiles on our earth, the snakes and the lizards on our land, and including the iguanas of the Galapagos, to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. May the cosmic light help all the souls of all the 4-legged animals, including the dogs and the cattle living in our college land and in our surroundings, to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. May the cosmic light help all the souls of all the 2-legged animals, including all the human beings throughout the world, to evolve upwards with happiness and joy. And may my own soul evolve upwards with happiness and joy to become one with the creator of the universe, the pure white light of Ahura Mazda. May I conclude by giving my respect to Dr. Hariprasad Kanoria ji, this wonderful book which he has published, Enlightenment. This is truly power. It is not simply the power of mechanisms of politics. It is the spiritual power. It is not purely the power of finance and economics. It is the spiritual power with which he has conquered the world. May I conclude my speech by giving him my salutations, my deepest respects, and to all his family and all his staff for all that he is doing for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And it was wonderful listening to you once again. And the tradition continues. Thank you. We have our next speaker. Once again, someone with whom we are familiar, who has visited our Confluence when it was done physically. And today we are indeed privileged to have Haji Syed Salman Chishti in our virtual conference. We welcome you, sir. As you all know that he has been heading the Chishti Foundation, which is the Ajmer Sharif. As we all know, world-renowned. He's the managing trustee and chairman for almost a decade now. And he has been traveling extensively, promoting the values of unity, of unconditional love, of service to humanity across the world. He has written extensively on spirituality, on Sufism, on spiritual understanding, spiritual ethics, and it is always a pleasure to listen to his oratory. So we welcome Haji Syed Salman Chishti.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيد المرسلين ورحمة للعالمين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل محمد أجمعين وسلام المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Adab, salam, shalom, namaste, and greeting of peace to our spiritual family, as I always look forward to the elders and learn so much at the platform that's been created by Janab Hari Prasad Gunorrhea Sahab. आदाब हरी बाबू आपको और बहुत बहुत दुआएं आप सबके लिए. Universal Spirituality and Humanity Foundation, the Gunorrhea Foundation, the family itself have been a shining light, not only from Kolkata, but for our entire nation, that have been engaged from several years constantly, despite the biggest challenges of our age, the COVID pandemic. The spirit of serving hasn't been let down. In fact, it has been emboldened by the bigger the challenge, the bigger the services. So we congratulate and extend our regard and respect to Hari Babu and the entire Gunorrhea family, all the organizer, Dr. Rahul Verma Sahab, who have been so actively engaged in serving, not only at the annual gathering that we are having today, that the 14th World Confluence of Humanity, Power and Spirituality. But even before this, there was some United Nations event for environmental awareness. So throughout the year, despite the challenge, we have been regularly together in touch and serving at the same time learning. So thank you for creating this platform. And today that we just heard some of the most heart-rending words and messages from our dear elder, Meher Master Sahiba, who shared the wisdom for the entire humanity and the entire creation, which comes to the essence of serving the creation by seeking closeness to the one divine creator. That's only by service that we can reach to the closeness of the divine creator. Of course, our prayers, our meditation, our ways of contemplation may be different, but the goal remains the same. At each direction, we focus on the central energy and the central divine preparation that our journey takes us within. As it's mentioned in the Holy Quran Al-Kareem, which I'll just share, chapter 49, Surah Al-Hujurat, which translates as the dwelling, which is translation as, O mankind, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that ye may know each other. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is He who is the most righteous of you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things and happenings. For us, the meaning of this ayat of the Quran is celebrating the diversity that God has bestowed upon us as a source of light and learning. As we have been created into different parts of the world, different lands, different soils, but we all understand that the light, the nur, that we are all created is the one nur, that we come and then our journey is bestowed upon. We all have our own cultures and traditions, which seems completely natural to us until we meet during our travels from another country, another continent, another native land, another language that they speak. But these are the diversities that we have to cherish and learn from each other. It is the tradition of learning and respecting our elders, spiritual teachers, the gurus, Sufis, yogis, awliyas, saints, who have from generation to generation passed on this immaculate teaching. Moreover, as a transformation of heart-to-heart learning, not only just by the revealed texts, by the books, but more importantly and profoundly through the Sina Basina Ilm, which is heart-to-heart transformation of this sacred knowledge. So, Alhamdulillah, as we are here together and learning from each other, despite understanding of such profound words. What is the significant importance and the primary concerns of the time that has been bestowed upon us, the time that has been profoundly shared within us, and the region that we have all grown up? When we meet together, we share the heart-to-heart learnings from each other. As coming from Ajmer Dargah Sharif and growing up into the family who's been serving from last 800 years, it has been, of course, an honor, a privilege, but at the same time, a very, very important sacred trust that has been bestowed upon us. And the acknowledgement of this legacy as the sacred trust keep us humble, keep us grounded. It never let us put these titles or these privileges to come on our shoulder and take us away the qualities of being humble and serving. At times when we are born into the traditions who have legacies like Ajmer Sharif, often sometimes when we are into the worldly exchange of sharing this, at times people do tend to get astray in the sense of relishing into the titles or the legacies that they are born into. And often they lose the focus. But Alhamdulillah, as Khaja Gharib Nawaz, Khaja Moinuddin Chishti, who is known among the people as Gharib Nawaz, somebody who took care of the poor, the strangers, the one who have been serving, and always kept us grounded in the way that we always learn from the elders to serve into the most uncomfortable zone rather than just sitting all your life into a comfort zone, maybe at the gaddi or wherever you are most comfortable. The elders, as we know, that they have always served into the most uncomfortable zones with their hands. They just didn't sit on the gaddis and extend their hands for people coming and kissing them and honoring them. This is all today because of their dedication and their devotion, because they chose to go to those uncomfortable zones, places where nobody knew them, lands where they didn't speak the language about, tradition which they have no idea about, and those unacquainted lands and tradition, they embraced the people, served those who were needy, the needy and the poor. The Gharib Nawaz, one of the title, most famous title of Khaja Gharib Nawaz, is not only about somebody who took care of the poor, the downtrodden. Gharib is also translated into the Persian language. When we look at the exact translation, is also stranger. So no matter if you are a millionaire in your own city or the land, but if you travel to a distant land, you will still be a gharib, you will be a stranger to the new land. It doesn't matter what wealth you possess in your native land or native country or city. So it is such the magnanimity of Gharib Nawaz that wherever you travel, you are embraced with this circle of unconditional love. As Hazrat Khaja Gharib Nawaz teaching is, and the living example that we'll see in Ajmer Dargah Sharif, that from people from all faith and traditions are welcome here. Many of our elders who are together with us have joined us in Ajmer Sharif. Our Master Meher Mosa, she has given us the honor to host her. Kanoria Sahib has given us the honor to serve, and most of the elders who have been to the Dargah Ajmer Sharif and experienced that immaculate hospitality, where we have been asked from our elders that if truly you want to ignite the spiritual light within the human family, and those who never ask them who they are, never ask their name, the place that they come from, which language they speak. If you have to ask them, just ask them one thing: how can we serve you? If God has bestowed you that wealth or those means to serve the needy and the poor, go ahead and help them. If due to the worldly circumstances you cannot help into the physical aspect, God has given us these two hands. Raise them, make dua for them from your heart, pray for them that whatever need they have, may that be fulfilled. There is a great power in prayers and serving. As they say in Dargah Ajmer Sharif and all the spiritual places, कि किस्मतें रोज बदलती हैं. Destinies are changed every day. Because if it was a destined journey that we have been asked to tread, God wouldn't have provided us with these two magnificent power of prayers and du'as and serving. When we pray, we ask our elders, we ask our mother and father, we ask our spiritual elders to make dua for us, pray for us, remember us in your prayers. Why do we ask them such questions? Why we request them? Because we know that with prayers and service towards the creation, khidmat-e khalq, we will even be bestowed with something which we are not destined to. Kismat-e roz badalti hain, dua se aur khidmat-e khalq se. So the young generation, especially our millennials and the young generation, often they go depressed by saying that we didn't get enough good numbers, or didn't get good job, we didn't get as we desired for, maybe we are not destined for. When this thought comes to our heart and the mind that maybe we are not destined, then it leads us to depression. Unfortunately, at times, of course, when we are under the circle of elders and the spiritual gatherings, we tend to come out of this negativity, because we understand through the positive vibration, positive remembrance of the Creator, that the destinies can be changed with the power of prayers, dua, and the power of serving, khidmat-e khalq. That is why when we look at the tradition, langar is such an important aspect of serving food to people who are coming, not only the people who are coming, but around the villages also. Like Ajmer Sharif langar that has been served from last 800 years, purely vegetarian langar, so that people from all faith, all tradition can come and serve the langar and eat the langar, and eat the langar also. A pure vegetarian langar where we don't even use onion and garlic. This is a tradition from last 800 years. So that people from even the Jain community, they could come and serve and participate into the most sacred work of serving humanity. So with such power of serving and prayer, destinies are also changed. So this is the magnanimity that has been bestowed upon us when we look at the different aspect of learning and serving. I think it is so important to reflect on such thoughts that we are being able to change the diverse nature that itself is a healthy way of growing spiritually. We don't have to get stuck into the differences, but we have to learn and grow from the differences, because that is the translation of the ayat that we just recited, that we created you into nation and tribes so that you may know each other. Not to despise each other, but to learn from each other. Such as the magnanimity. Alhamdulillah, there's Khaja Gharib Nawaz, one of this profound saying is that if you want to be close to the Creator, be in service to the creation. Engage yourself in serving the creation. Your prayer, be it your namaz, your meditation, your fasting, is a gift to you. That is not the means to get close to the Creator, but it is a gift to you to elevate your spiritual maqam, your spiritual station. To truly get close to the Creator, engage yourself in serving the creation. How do we do that? As Khaja Gharib Nawaz has said, develop the three attributes of nature into your being. What are those? Sun-like grace, river-like generosity, and earth-like hospitality. Because these attributes of nature never make any distinction or differences upon whom they are serving. The warmth and the grace of sun is for everyone, as the flowing water of the river is for everyone. The river never asks who is drawing, what is the person's name or religion or culture that they come from. It's flowing and ever flowing and serving to all those who come to the river. Likewise, earth, the magnanimity of earth, no matter how abusive at times we become in using the resources that the earth has provided us. Look at the results of unaccounted industrialization, the climate changes, the environment crisis, that the United Nations is struggling globally to implement the Sustainable Development Goal, the SDGs. Time and again, the country head of states, politicians, activists, environmental activists, they're all meeting together globally in different locations to reinstate these goals of making the earth usable not only for the present generation, but the future generation. But look at the magnanimity of Earth, that Earth is hospitable in all the situations and all the dealing that we are engaged in. Although we have been into the excesses of abusing the resources that has been bestowed upon us, but still the magnanimity of the Creator, the Lord, is that always it's been serving and enable us to overcome such losses that have been cannot be comprehended by any data that has been released periodically by the World Environment Agencies, UN, or the World Environment Program, or different agencies, global agencies. They keep releasing the data, which is totally, we have gone beyond those data by just desecrating the sacred amanat, the sacred trust that has been bestowed upon us. So, inshallah, if we all keep understanding and keep serving these attributes into the honor and the righteousness that has been bestowed upon each living being, we can truly honor the sacred trust that has been bestowed upon us. Alhamdulillah, as we know that Hazrat Khaja Gharib Nawaz has been the leading Sufi teacher of not only of India, but in entire Indian subcontinent. As after Khaja Gharib Nawaz, it was Baba Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki, which led to Hazrat Khaja Baba Fariduddin Ganj Shakar, who worked extensively in the region of Punjab, and then Hazrat Nizamuddin Auliya. A lot of sayings of Baba Farid is so important that they have been incorporated by Hazrat Guru Nanak into the Holy Guru Granth Sahib. And Alhamdulillah, they have been part of the Shabad Kirtan tradition and across all the Gurudwaras around the world. So look at the progressive state which were there in 500 years ago, 600 years ago, the learning from each other. I think that need to be reinstated today, that how the gurus, the rishis, the Sufis, the awliyas, the masters were learning from each other, whether they were the breathing practices, whether they were the meditative practices, whether they were the inter-exchange of the spiritual text incorporating into each other's teaching. So I think they were much more progressive than today. What we see, the challenges that has been bestowed upon us is the sharing of this knowledge, whether what we are seeing on the political debates, whether we are seeing on the national television debates or the news, which is not really doing justice to such an immense treasure that India holds. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Rajasthan to Bengal, we have such great tradition. And it is our responsibility to collectively share the messages and the inter-exchange of these learnings so that we grow together as our elders have bestowed upon the sacred trust. Look at the Ganga Jamni Tehzeeb, look at the Sufi Bhakti tradition, the poetry that Amir Khusro wrote into the Khari Boli, the languages, the Awadhi languages, the ancient tradition of the languages, and they are so much recited today in prominently all the Qawwali tradition. The oral tradition, which is the Sufi music, which is so essential of sharing the sacred. It is not just a part of the music, but it is the heart-to-heart transformation of knowledge. So I think if we truly engage and dedicate on a platform like today that we are, on the 14th World Confluence of Humanity, Power and Spirituality, offered to us year by year by Kanoria Foundation and Universal Spirituality and Humanity Foundation under the much revered and respected guidance of Shri Hari Prasad Kanoria Sahab. And inshallah, we are sure that the challenges shall be overcome truly in the literal sense, and the future generation will be having the sacred trust as it has been passed on to us from the elders. I will conclude, as I know there are other masters and the elders, I will conclude with our tribute to Khaja Gharib Nawaz's last sermon, last teachings, which have become the foundational aspect of the Chishti Sufi order, which he delivered just a month before he left the worldly abode into the heavenly bliss and blessing. As Khaja Gharib Nawaz has asked us, love towards all and malice towards none. Love all and hate none. Mere talk of peace will avail you not. Mere talk of God and religion will not take you far. Bring out all the latent powers of your being and reveal the full magnificence of your immortal self. Be overflowing with peace and joy and scatter them wherever you are, wherever you go. Be a blazing fire of truth and be a beauteous blossom of love. Be a smoothing balm of peace with your spiritual light, as we all carry the spiritual light. So important to reflect on this word. With your spiritual light, dispel the darkness of ignorance, dissolve the clouds of discord and war, and spread goodwill, peace, and harmony among the people. Never seek any help, charity, or favors from anybody except God. Never go to the courts of the kings, but never refuse to bless and help the needy and the poor, the widow and the orphan if they come to your door. This is your mission, to serve the people, to serve the creation. Carry it out dutifully and courageously, so that I, as your Pir Murshid, as your spiritual teacher, may not be ashamed in front of Almighty God and the holy predecessors in our Sufi lineage. These last words really, make us reflect that here Khaja Moinuddin Chishti himself is asking us that any of your shortcoming should not make our elders ashamed. That is the sacred trust that we all have to honor and pass on this legacy to our future generation, to honor the sacred trust, so that any of our shortcoming not make our elders, our parents, our teachers, whoever we have learned, even a smallest thing, may not make them ashamed. Inshallah, we pray with such gathering and such high power exchange of heart to heart knowledge, we will always make our elders proud of what we are doing, as we know that how Hari Babu is making his family, the Gonorrhea family, his elders, his parents and his grandparents proud of the work that they're doing. So is the young generation. That I met his I met his grandchildren also at the conference, and how they are learning from their grandfather's initiative. It's truly, truly amazing. We pray from Ajmer Dargah Sharif that this legacy continues and we all together continue to serve. Salam, adab, bahut bahut duaएं कि तेरा दयार है दार सलाम या ख्वाजा, तजल्लियां है नई सुबह शाम या ख्वाजा, न फिक्र में न गमे जाम, तेरे मस्तों को तेरी एक निगाह से चलता है काम या ख्वाजा. This is the legacy of our land, Bharat Desh, Hindustan, that those who are intoxicated with the divine love, they have no fear and no sorrow. Even if you have no worldly wealth, we are always into the state of sabr and shukr, gratitude and patience. That makes us unique throughout the world. So together, inshallah, from India, we share this message of being in the state of sabr and shukr, patience and gratitude. No matter what comes, we will win and we will serve. Salam, adab, bahut bahut duaएं. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and such beautiful words of Khaja Moinuddin Chishti that you shared with us, especially that particular part about, spiritual light dispelling the darkness. Now, as you know that many people are following us today, and we have about 650 live viewers, more than 1,300 people visiting our sites, and they have been asking us questions in the chat box. All of you can do that. So one question, it is a question sent by someone who is extremely saddened by the fact that although everyone is education now, there, especially in our country, in fact, very few people are now denied education, and yet it is not doing anything to make people broad-hearted. Narrow-mindedness is flourishing with education. So the person who has asked this question wants to know the reason for this and wants a solution.
Well, there are other elders here. If you would like to answer the question, or it is specifically for us, we're happy to share. The education, it is important, as we says, that what is that sacred trust? Are we bestowing that sacred trust through the education, or is this education is just for grades, for a result oriented, or we get a job out of that? but are we really grounding the foundational aspect? Look at this, when we're talking about thousands of years of legacy that India holds up. Look at the Gurukuls. Look at those deep respect between the teacher and the student, Guru and Shishya Parampara. Are we truly following that into the modern education system? I think it's devoid of that spiritual bond between the teacher and the student. And from that aspect, we look at today when students passed out from schools or when they passed out from universities or colleges, they do get high grades and they get degrees, and they just focus on getting a job. But are they really contributing in the sense, the sacred trust that has been bestowed upon them? That is something that we have to reflect, and that is why a reform in education, which we have been talking about, India has been talking about, that the reform in the global education system is a must. And some countries are paying heed also. You look at the Western education system, how they have transformed themselves into just the theoretical part. More interactive education is happening. And unfortunately, in India, we are lacking behind in the interactive aspect of educational transformation. Unless we engage in interactive and holistic approach towards the educational curriculum, I think these aspects of narrow-heartedness or just self, okay, whatever is for me I take it, and whatever is for others I just reject it, and I just make some good career and money, and that's it. But it was not earlier the case, when the world knows India as the one who is sharing the global message, as the Wish Guru. We have been disseminating this message for centuries. So I think the holistic approach towards education, I'm sure with this forum, we can take our voices to the education ministry through Gonorrhea Sahab and his, he's been leading in giving advices and different forums. So we have to engage the education ministry in terms of translating these. This is a real question, and we see that people have been who have been reflecting that what is missing. I think the holistic approach to education is something which is missing. We need to reinstate that.
Thank you so much. And as you said, that this is a good platform for influencing new thoughts of recreating or bringing in the spiritual component that is so missing in the kind of theoretical education that is imparted. Thank you so much. And it was wonderful listening to you once again. Thank you. And we do have another very distinguished person waiting to speak to us, Reverend Dr. Stephen Thompson. He is a Sanskrit teacher and assistant priest. He first experienced the power and beauty of Sanskrit, a language which perhaps goes back into the dim yawns of history. And he experienced its power and beauty when he started studying the Advaita philosophy in the School of Economic Science in London. This was over 3 decades ago. And this also generated stimulated his interest in ancient languages. He studied Greek, Hebrew, and later he took up a serious study of Sanskrit in the School of Oriental and African Studies in London. He did an MPhil, a PhD from the Center for Advanced Sanskrit Studies at the University of Pune. Patanjali's Mahabharata has been translated, large segments of it has been translated by Reverend Dr. Stephen Thompson. And today, we are absolutely looking forward to hearing him speak on spirituality, on humanity, and on power.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. It's a great privilege for me to join you today and to be in the company of such beings who love the truth and are seeking to bring that light forward into manifestation. And that we're particularly thankful for Dr. Gonorrhea with his inspired vision of this uplift of humanity, which is always the key. Now, I have here a PowerPoint. Can I just bring it up? Is it something you can see? Is that possible to show, or is it easier to continue with me talking without reference to that? Right. So I don't know whether, is this visible, this PowerPoint? Can I have confirmation? Okay. The confluence of humanity, power, and spirituality. First of all, confluence is the...
Can I just interrupt? The PowerPoint is not visible. The
It's not visible.
PowerPoint, no. Can we try again? You have to share. Can you take the share screen option?
Yes, I will.
There should...
Now, can you now see that?
Yes, we can.
Good. Thank you very much. The confluence of humanity, power, and spirituality. Confluence occurs where two or more flowing bodies of water join together to form a single channel. And all of us here are part of that stream of pure light, pure consciousness, which is seeking to return to that oneness which we call the ocean. The word which is of prime importance, has been in my life anyway, is this very word, the word. And it wasn't until I met a very wise man from the School of Economic Science, Mr. McLaren, who pointed out to me that the saying, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God," is speaking of Om, of this great sacred word, and that this is the key to the meeting of East and West, the key to rediscovering the fact that we are one humanity, as the tradition says, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, for whom the whole universe, the whole world is our family. And I'd like just to speak to you about this wonderful point of connection between the so-called East and the so-called West, which is epitomized by two great texts, one in Sanskrit, for a great Upanishad called the Mandukya Upanishad, and the other St. John's Gospel in the New Testament. And both speak of this great word. Now, you can see, I hope, that now, is this not, doesn't seem to be, I'm sorry. Some reason we're not connecting with this PowerPoint.
But right. Can we try it? There's a green button on top of the PowerPoint. See, one red, one yellow, and one green. Can you just click it once? It's right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can't see
Right.
where you're talking.
Anyway, the point is, on the PowerPoint, on the left side of the PowerPoint, you would find three dots, one red, one. It's now okay. It's now okay.
Is that now working?
Yes,
right.
it's working. It's working.
And is that clear?
Absolutely clear. Thank you.
Right. Apologies for all this complication. So, Om and the Word made flesh, how that word receives us back into itself. Humans, that's all of us, it is said, make a threefold bond. First of all, as all speakers that I've heard spoken about, to remember the absolute, to remember God, and to live according to the fine regulations of the absolute will, and to find our way back to the absolute, to our own true self, through meditation, through knowledge, through love, and especially through service to society at large. Now, a very interesting discovery for me was I came across this great verse from the Rig Veda, which I think most of you will know is possibly the oldest collection of scriptures that we know of. And in there's a remarkable verse which says that there are 4 kinds of words that form the constituents of speech. The learned Brahmanas who've got control of their mind know them thoroughly. 3 out of 4 stages of speech are, as it were, closed in caves. They do not twinkle. It is the 4th that is manifest into the talk of men. Now, this is, for me, has revealed a great secret, that every human being has access to the 4 dimension of Vak, of speech. There is Vaikari Vak, which I'm speaking now, speech on the tongue. But behind that is the Madhyama Vak, the mental speech. Then 10 fingers width between the larynx and the heart. And behind that is the causal realm, the Pashyanti Vak. But behind that, physically at the center of our being, in our navel, if you like, is what's called Para. And that is the center of pure consciousness. That is where Om is embodied. That is where the word which never changes, which is pure Satchitananda, which is truth, consciousness, and bliss, which is God at the center of our being. That is to be found in the profound silent speech, which we come to through meditation, through prayer, through total selfless service. And this leads me to the next point, which is that when we carry out any action, as our last speaker was really speaking for, it makes all the difference in the world if we fall still and we dedicate what we're doing to the Supreme, to the light of lights, to that God, that unknown, indescribable source of being, that pure consciousness. And so I'm going to just do that in the way that I've done with teaching young children from the age of 11 right up to 18 for about 25 years, different, many religions, all the 6 religions really. And we've always practiced in our lessons, coming to stillness, to peace, and discovering that center in our, at the very center of our being, before going into our study, our work. And though this is what this dedication is about, so I'll just say that. Om Paramatmane Namah. A bow to the Supreme Self in the hearts of all. May whatever I say be accessible to all hearts and be in harmony with that great ocean of love from which everything comes, to which everything returns. So you could say today is particularly appropriate, as we go close to the Christian festival of the Christmas story. It is called The Word is Made Flesh and Dwells Among Us, full of grace and truth. So the 2 texts that I want to consider are, first of all, the one from St. John, this passage that you might be interested here. When I was in India in 1985, I had been studying in India for 4 years, doing my first PhD, and with a friend, we were led to meet one of the Shankaracharyas, the Jyotirmat, and he asked us to put our questions in Sanskrit. So I asked my question, how does one realize the word? And I quoted these first 2 verses in Sanskrit. Adau vada asid, satchavada ishvara bimukha asid, satchavada ishvara asid. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Sa'adau Ishvara bimukha asid. The same was in the beginning with God. Pantena salvam udbhuta yad udbhutam tan madhyeta tam vina na mityutrutam. All things were made by him, and without him was anything made that was made. Tasmin jivanam asit tat jivanam cha manushyanam jyotirasit. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. Of course, we can translate in it, in that absolute. And of course, men means all human beings, all beings. Tat jyotish chandakare rajate andakarastu tanna jagraha. And the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. So that darkness can never put out the light. As Meher has been expounding to us, this light is the light of lights. This light is the reality which we sometimes call pure consciousness, which is in the heart of everyone. And then, of course, at that point, having finished that quotation, the Shankaracharya answered my question. How can I realize this word? And that's the second half of what I want to say. And he said, he gave me a clue, which I have been pursuing ever since, which is very much in harmony with everything that's been said. But to carry on with this beautiful passage, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. That was John the Baptist, the great prophet. There hadn't been a prophet for 400 years. Same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light that all men through him might believe. He was not the light, but was sent to bear witness of the light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. It seemed to me that that is the great message of today, to realize that every single being is lit by that one light. For me, that's what I found when I was teaching young children. I've always found this. In my students, I see that light. In the people I meet, I see that light. That is the light which never dies. That is the light of truth. And that light is what we all so desperately need to remember and come back to. He was in the world, that was in the world, and the world was made by him, but the world knew him not, as it is today. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. And here's the key. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the children of God, even to them that believe on his name, this sacred name, which is another name for Om, which is another name for our own divine self, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. The truth that has been just spoken of is that our own divine self is not other than God. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt and dwells among us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. And hence the cosmic understanding of the birth of Jesus Christ as the incarnation of God, fully man and fully God. And what a wonderful thing that is, that we can celebrate that full incarnation of God at any time and realize this is to show us that our own divine self, sometimes in Sanskrit called Satchidananda, truth, consciousness, and bliss, is nothing other than that same divine self that Meher is referring to when she quoted from Hamlet. above all else to thine own self be true, and it shall follow as another, the night, the day, you cannot then be false to anyone. This is the divine self, our own self. So, according to St. John, Jesus was the incarnation of Om in its purity. The Holy Spirit is the Atman. This is one way of interpreting it, but I found this very helpful. The Atman, the self of each of us, which he promises to the disciples shall enjoy. And he calls it the Spirit of Truth, which is what unites all of us here today. God the Father is God the Creator, the Brahman, the all, the everything. And so Father, Son, and Holy Ghost or Spirit are like that, carefully spelt out for us. And this word, this Om, is made flesh. In other words, and it dwells among us. If we could just realize that each of us is lit by the light of God, by that word. Jesus, full of grace and truth, as all the great prophets and the avatars before. When he talks about the comforter, the Spirit of truth, it's that which is your true self. And so there are different aspects of the same absolute. Jesus, according to St. John, is the incarnation of God, of Om, in its purity, which is an incarnation of the absolute. Well, I hope that found helpful. Om can reveal, therefore, the divine nature of every individual human being, embodying physical Ah. So there are four aspects of Om. There is the Ah, the U, and the Ma. And of course, the Ah stands for the physical world, the U for the subtle, the Ma for the causal. But beyond all three, when we join them, Ah, U, Om, it leads us to that profound silence, which is the real Om, which is the real word. And so that leads me to the Mandukya Upanishad, which the Shankaracharya recommended me to study to understand how one could realize this word. And you have this wonderful sentence in the first verse of the Mandukya Upanishad, Om ityetadaksharam idagna sarvam tasyo pavyakhyanam bhutam bhavat bhavishyat iti sarvam omkara eva yatchan yatvikalatitam tadapyomkara eva. The syllable Om is all this universe. Of this, a clear exposition is started with. All that is past, present, or future is verily, in truth, Om. And whatever is beyond the three periods of time is also verily Om. Sarvam hyetat Brahma, ayam atma Brahma, soyam atma chatushpat. All this is surely Brahman. The self is Brahman. The self, such as it is possessed of four quarters: the waking, the Jagarita, the dream, the Swapna, the deep sleep, Sushupta, and the fourth, the Turiya, pure consciousness. So when we merge in deep meditation, leaving behind all thoughts, as the psalmist says, be still and know that I am God. Or another saying of Jesus, I and my Father are one. That ekatvam, that ekatvam, the oneness which lies behind everything and behind all the scriptures. And then leads us to this beautiful seventh verse of the Mandukya. Nanta prajnam, na bahish prajnam, no bhayata prajnam, na prajanaganam, na prajnam, na prajnam. Adrishtam avyavaharyam agrahyam alakshanam achintyam avyapadeshyam ekatma pratyasaram prapancho vashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtam manyante sa atma sa vijñeya. So this fourth, they consider to be that which is not just conscious of the internal subjective world, nor even the external world, nor conscious of both the worlds, nor is it a concrete consciousness, nor usually worldly consciousness, nor devoid of consciousness, which is unseen, beyond empirical dealings, beyond the grasp, intangible, devoid of qualifications, beyond thinking, beyond description, essentially of the nature of consciousness as the self alone, ekatma pratyayasaram, in which all phenomena cease, and which is peaceful, auspicious, and non-dual. That is the self, and that is to be known. And that very self, considered from the standpoint of the syllables denoting it, is Om, and considered from the standpoint of the sounds constituting Om, the quarters of the self are the letters of Om, and the letters are the quarters. The sounds are A, U, and M. Vaishwanara, having the waking state as his sphere, is the first sound A, because of the similarity of pervasiveness, or being the first. He who knows thus attains all desirable things and becomes the foremost. In other words, he is totally, or she is totally fulfilled when you realize that he in his service is perfect freedom. Then all desires are perfectly fulfilled. As Krishna says, Aksharanam akarosmi, I am the letter A of all letters. And Jesus says, I am the Alpha and the Omega. And so that just that first sound, the open, the pure R, which the children naturally manifest in their language, the younger they are, that is taking us back to that beautiful understanding of the all-pervading presence of God, of the love, which is our true divine nature. He who is Taijasa, with the state of dream as his sphere, is the second sound, U, of Om, because of the similarity of excellence and intermediate, who knows thus increases the current of knowledge, just like Professor Gonorrhea in his new book, increases the current of knowledge and becomes equal to all. None is born in his line who is not a knower of God. And remember such saying as, I am the light of the world. We can begin to acknowledge this power, which is given us by the Guru, by the teacher, by these wonderful scriptures that are available to us. Sushuptasthana prajnyo makara stritiya matra mitera piterva vinoti hava idagna sarvam apitishcha bhavati ya evam veda. Prajna, the causal realm, the ma of Om, with his sphere of activity in the deep sleep state, is the third sound of Om, because of measuring or because of absorption. Anyone who knows thus, measure all this, becomes the place of absorption. And I could hear from the speakers I've heard here, many of you, particularly my master, how she reveals her own deep knowledge of that place of rest in whom we live and move and have our being. Finally, the final verse, the partless Om, is the fourth Turiya, beyond all conventional dealings, the limit of the negation of the phenomenal world, the auspicious and the non-dual. Om is thus the self, to be sure. Who knows thus enters the self through his self. As Jesus says, the kingdom of God is within you. And this verse for me reveals that if we attend to the mantra that we have been given and treat it with total love and realize that it is an aspect of our own divine self, we actually enter into ourself by that acknowledgement of the oneness with that which we're meditating on. And it brings us to this deepest peace of all, which is the appreciation of the true what love and knowledge, which is the very nature of the true humanity. That in itself inspires us to give selfless service. As it says here, one should know Om to be God, seated in the hearts of all beings. To know the word to be God, seated in the hearts of all. Meditating on that all-pervasive Om, the intelligent one grieves no more. Not only that, but experiences the bliss which enables one, in turn, to naturally serve wherever one is, to serve that light in ourselves and in others. So the word was and is made flesh and dwells among us, full of grace and truth. And we behold his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. So that really brings me to this affirmation. God does became man in order that man might become God. And as the Shankaracharya said, the absolute meditates in order to create, and we meditate in order to become absolute, in whom we live and move and have our being. I hope that was meaningful, and thank you very much for inviting me to share in this wonderful Confluence.
Dr. Thompson, that was really wonderful. And perhaps the power of the Om is something that what you spoke about is highly technical, but the common people in India, they do relate to the sound energy of the Om because of Indian classical music to a certain extent, because in Indian classical music, one does not use cognitive words as such, but sounds, and the Om is articulated during practice, and therefore this is something that we can all relate to, although we may not have your superlative knowledge of Sanskrit. So as you know that we are getting all kinds of queries and questions and doubts and statements from the people who are using our chat box to do that. So I don't know whether you would like to answer these questions or not, but every different perspective, every different interpretation of these questions and answers would help our viewers. So here goes. The first question is, the person who has, sort of written it, he basically asks, why cannot spirituality and wellness and associated perceptions be divorced from religion? Why does it have to be related to religion? Why can't it go beyond?
Well, to answer your question, if we took the what I was saying about the 4 levels of speech, the realm of religion tends to be that of duality and of the heart. But that level of the heart, which is in linguistic terms is called Pashyanti, the heart realm, where the chitta or the heart, we experience a profound love. But that, where there's still a sense of God and myself, that can lead to another step, which is what I've been talking about resting in para, where you go beyond ego, beyond the sense of me and mine, and you experience pure spirit. And the great thing about all the great religions of the world is that they provide that, they take you to this profound experience of unity, which prepares you for actually merging. So there's no conflict. It's just that the inner essence, if you call it like the esoteric aspect of all the great religions, is this profound oneness. In Judaism, it's Shema Israel Adonai Elohim Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. That oneness, which can't be done through words or theory or only being anubhuti, through profound experience in meditation, in prayer, in total selfless service. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. That there should not be any conflict. I mean, spirituality is surely perceiving that there is some higher force, some higher energy, something beyond me. There is a pattern, there is a structure in the universe, and I'm included in that. That perception should be there in spirituality. And you are saying that that particular thought is there in all religions.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, you see that why I quote you, be still and know that I am God. The ultimate purpose is to realize one's got divine nature. But the real point of all the great religions is that they are the teachings of, if you like, realized souls who can show from their own knowledge, and especially the case, of course, of incarnations of God, like Jesus Christ, by providing a continual teacher for us to refer to, a living teaching. The whole point is the scriptures are living teachings to allow us to experience that profound oneness, profound peace, from which we can live a spiritual life. But it needs the help, the support, if you like, of all those great teachers who've produced the scriptures of the world.
Right. So although there is no conflict between spirituality and religion, would you say that one can be spiritual without being or without following the structure of any particular religion?
Of course, but it's a great support. I mean, there are two aspects in my view, in my experience. Not only is I've adopted this for many years. One meditates every day, morning and evening, for half an hour, using a mantra, but at the same time, I also spend regular time studying the scriptures, because the scriptures provide the knowledge. It's not sufficient just to believe and say, oh, this is lovely spiritual experience, because it's not just a private thing. It's for liberation, for the whole humanity should be enriched by the going back, if you like, to the foundations of all knowledge. This is why the world's in a bit of a mess at the moment, confused, because it's forgotten the source of knowledge.
True. Now, here's another question which I would like to read out because, rather than paraphrase it. So I would need your permission for that. Now, this is from Dr. Professor Deboprasad Chattopadhyay, Senior Professor and Head of the Department of Human Resource, Globsin Business School, Kolkata. So his question is an excellent, he praises our World Confluence. He says it's excellent. And he thanks the organizers, especially Dr. Hari Prasad Gonorrhea ji. Now, he says, a question for any one of the erudite speakers. Why is it that someone, despite his or her good deeds in this birth, suffer from miseries and sorrows? Is it because of the person's prarabdha or unbecoming deeds in previous birth? So this is the question.
Well, if you can accept the idea that your previous, your past, if you like, has been carried over into this life, then clearly this will affect the present life, and you might not be able to change that except pray that it be dissolved, the power of it. So that it has to be the past, the effect of the past on you. Whether we are able to explain that in detail is another matter. We might have to simply accept as I recall Ramakrishna said, don't make so much ado about trying to feed me when I have cancer. It is my body that is to die, but I do not die. And to understand that, whatever it is we face, that the true self, the truth in us will never die, is never born, and not to be caught up in the terrible suffering, which of course is happening all over the world. The important message is to realize we are lit by the light of God, and we need to practice acknowledging God in everyone.
Absolutely. Na hanyate hannamane shariri, as they say. Thank you so much. And it was wonderful listening to you and trying to understand the power of the Om. Thank you once again for joining us and bringing a whole new perspective to this World Confluence. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And now we have a very young speaker with us today. Avanishri Gonorrhea will now speak.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. It's great meeting all of you on this Zoom platform. I think my granddad, I would like to thank my granddad for organizing this spiritual conference every year for the past so many years, because this has given us a platform which has been very, very crucial and important in dealing with the past 2 years with the pandemic. I think we have learned a lot and over the past years of how he has brought us up. And this platform has definitely helped us deal with the pandemic in the right aspect, incorporating spirituality when it was most required. In my opinion, my belief is that the pandemic is, in a way, nature and God's way of teaching us how to start looking within. And despite all the technologies and developments which are happening all around the world, it is important that we take some time off and self-respect. And I believe in our busy lifestyles, we often forget to do that. So my biggest takeaway and way to look at this pandemic in a positive way is to believe and understand that it is the time to reflect within and see what are the changes we can make in our lifestyles, in our daily lives, to not forget the spiritual angle and how we can incorporate that into our daily lives and practices. It becomes a crucial aspect because when you see so much death, so much sufferings going around in the world, your loved and dear ones suffering, it is important that you understand nature's way of giving a message, which it becomes very important. And I hope all of you have gotten some time during these past 2 years with the ups and downs, whether in your career or personal lives, or when you see your loved ones going through hardships, to understand the value of spirituality and how we can incorporate that in our daily lives to help us go through this journey in a better and smooth, happy lifestyle and be content with ourselves.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again, Avanishri Gonorrhea, who beautifully expressed her experience during the pandemic. And it is a generic experience. We can all find empathy with that. Thank you once again. We now move on to the final speaker of the 14th World Confluence of Humanity, Power and Spirituality. And he is none other than Sadhguru Dilip Singh. Sadhguru Dilip Singh ji is the son of Maharaj Veer Singh. He's the nephew of His Holiness Shri Sadhguru Jagjit Singh, who is the supreme spiritual head of the Namdhari Sikhs. He was founder and executive committee member of the India International Photographic Council. In fact, he is one of the world's most renowned photographers, and he has been an associate of the Royal Photographic Society. He has won many international and, of course, national awards like the Grand Prize by British Airways and many awards from the World Press Photo Council. So we move to his other side as a spiritual leader to bring some clarity today in today's situation when the world is going through terrible times, terrible experiences. We seek the spiritual knowledge of Sadhguru Dalip Singh Ji. Welcome, sir.
नमस्कार। ज्ञान अंजन गुर दिया, अज्ञान अंधेर विनाश, हरि कृपा ते संत भेटिया, नानक मन प्रगाश। जाहि कुल ते प्रगट होए, ताहि कुल को नाम, उन द्वादश गोरिंद को मेरी है प्रणाम। मेरी आवाज ठीक आ रही है जी? हेलो, कैन यू हियर मी?
Absolutely clearly, sir.
Okay, right. सर्वप्रथम मैं जो भी वक्ता तथा श्रोता इस जूम मीटिंग में उपस्थित हैं, सभी को नमस्कार, सभी का अभिनंदन। मैं अपने देश की भाषा में बात कर रहा हूं। करने को तो मैं इंग्लिश में भी कर लेता, परंतु मेरे गुरु सदगुरु जगजीत सिंह जी जहां भी जाते थे वो अपनी भाषा में ही बात करते थे। और वैसे भी मैं यह मानता हूं कि भारत में तो कम से कम भारतीय भाषाओं का प्रयोग ही होना चाहिए। ये दूसरी बात है कि बाकी सभी लोगों को समझाने के लिए हमें किसी दूसरी भाषा का आश्रय लेना पड़ता है। मैं चाहता हूं कि डॉक्टर हरि प्रसाद जी कोई ऐसा प्रबंध कर दें जिससे जिनको इंग्लिश नहीं आती उनको ट्रांसलेशन करके बात समझाई जा सके। सबसे पहले मैं डॉक्टर हरि प्रसाद गनोरिया जी का धन्यवाद करता हूं, जिन्होंने मुझे यहाँ आपके समक्ष दर्शन करने का अवसर दिया है तथा इतना सत्कार दिया है। पहले भी कुछ वर्ष पहले उन्होंने मुझे बुलाया था तो उस समय ऑस्ट्रेलिया से आना पड़ा था। मैं डॉक्टर साहब का बहुत बहुत धन्यवादी हूँ, उनके परिवार का, और उनको इस प्रकार का जो कार्य वो कर रहे हैं जिसमें मानवता, शक्ति तथा आध्यात्मिकता को मिलाकर एक सम्मेलन करवा रहे हैं, उसके लिए बधाई है। बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, अपनी नामधारी संगत की ओर से बहुत बधाई देता हूं, क्योंकि यह सम्मेलन एक प्रकार का विलक्षण सम्मेलन है जिसमें सभी वक्ताओं ने अपने अपने दृष्टिकोण से अपने अपने विचार व्यक्त किए हैं। इस प्रकार के सम्मेलन संसार में बहुत कम होते हैं। और डॉक्टर साहब ये करवा रहे हैं क्योंकि उनका नाम ही है हरि प्रसाद। तो प्रसाद का मतलब खाने वाला प्रसाद भी होता है, प्रसाद का अर्थ कृपा भी होती है। उनका तो नाम हरि की कृपा है। गुरु कृपा करे वो ऐसे कार्य करते ही रहे। अब मैं अपनी जो विषय आपने मुझे दिया है उसके बारे में बात कर रहा हूं। विषय में है ह्यूमैनिटी, पावर एंड स्पिरिचुअलिटी। तो हिंदी में मानवता, शक्ति तथा आध्यात्मिकता, इनके अर्थ में अपने विचारों, अपने शब्दों के अनुसार करता हूं कि क्योंकि किसी भी शब्द के अर्थ अलग अलग समय में, अलग अलग संदर्भ में परिवर्तित हो जाते हैं। मानवता तो वो है जो हम मानव जाति के हैं। अब मानवता को भी मैं दो भागों में बांटता हूं, एक अमीर और एक गरीब। क्योंकि जो आध्यात्मिकता की बात या शक्ति की बात अमीर को समझ आ सकती है वो गरीब को नहीं आ सकती। आप पूछेंगे क्यों नहीं आ सकती? गरीब को इसलिए नहीं आ सकती कि गरीब के पास हम जाएंगे तो अध्यात्म की बात करेंगे, या कोई भी किसी प्रकार के भी जीवन ऊंचा करने की बात करेंगे तो उसके उपरांत उसका अर्थ पूछेंगे तो वो बोलेगा रोटी। रोटी एक पंजाबी की कहावत है कि किसी ने किसी के पास एक बात पाई। बात होती है एक छोटी सी गुंजलदार कहानी। बात पाई तो उसने उसके उपरांत उससे पूछा कि क्या है भाई, बोलो। वो बेचारा कई दिन का भूखा था, वो बोला रोटी। तो इसलिए जब हम उन गरीबों के पास जाएंगे तो उनको हम आध्यात्मिकता की बात समझा ही नहीं पाएंगे। सबसे पहले तो वो बेचारे अनपढ़ हैं, पढ़े ही नहीं। और दूसरा, यदि किसी को हमारे शब्दों की कुछ समझ आ भी जाए तो रोटी के बिना वो दूसरी बात समझ ही नहीं पाए। इससे विपरीत अमीर लोगों के लिए जो दूसरी श्रेणी है, उनके लिए शक्ति तथा आध्यात्मिकता की बात बिल्कुल विभिन्न है। उनको तो अपनी शक्ति का दुरुपयोग करने से रोकने की आवश्यकता है जो वह कर रहे हैं, तथा उनको आध्यात्मिकता जगाने के लिए सबसे पहले उनमें संतोष, संयम लाने की आवश्यकता है। जिसमें संतोष तथा संयम ही नहीं, वो अध्यात्म की बात कैसे समझ सकता है? दूसरा शब्द है शक्ति। मेरे अनुसार प्रभु तथा प्रकृति की शक्ति के उपरांत, प्रभु की शक्ति, प्रकृति की शक्ति, ये दोनों महान शक्तियां हैं। उनके उपरांत मानव की तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि की शक्ति ही सबसे ऊपर है। स्मार्ट थिंकिंग, इंटेलिजेंस एंड स्मार्ट थिंकिंग, दैट इज द मोस्ट पावरफुल पावर। इसीलिए हम पूरी पृथ्वी पे राज कर रहे हैं। मानव जाति पूरी पृथ्वी पे राज, बाकी सभी 84 लाख योनि पे राज इसीलिए करती है कि हमारे पास सबसे अधिक तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि है। तो अब शक्ति में सबसे ऊपर यह तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि आती है। तो इस शक्ति में अब उस तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि का प्रयोग किसी को उबारने के लिए करना है या किसी को नष्ट करने के लिए करना है, यह तो मानव जाति के ऊपर है। परंतु मानव जाति को यह दिशा देनी, यह गुरु का कार्य है। इसीलिए जो हमारे देश की परंपरा है, गुरु शिष्य की परंपरा, उस परंपरा को पुनर्जीवित करके उसको पूरे विश्व में लागू करना चाहिए ताकि लोगों को सही दिशा मिल सके। और तीसरी बात उसमें आ जाती है अध्यात्म की। स्पिरिचुअलिटी तो इंग्लिश का वर्ड है। अध्यात्म का अर्थ है अपने आप को, आत्मा को जानना और जो परम आत्म प्रभु है उसको तथा आत्मा को एक करना। आत्मा प्रात्मा एको करे। तो इस प्रकार से ये तीनों शब्दों की व्याख्या मेरे अनुसार यह है। मैं फिर पहले शब्द पे आता हूं कि मानवता दो भागों में बंट जाती है, गरीब तथा अमीर। अब मानवता में और फिर उसके उपरांत शक्ति का प्रयोग। जब शक्ति का दुरुपयोग होता है तो उससे क्या होता है वो आप संभव है सभी जानते हैं। शक्ति के दुरुपयोग के कारण मानवता का कितना विनाश किया गया आप खुद ही विचारिए। शक्ति के दुरुपयोग के कारण वियतनाम पे इतने बम बरसाए गए, कंबोडिया में लाखों लोगों को मारा गया, अफगानिस्तान तथा और अरब देशों में मारा गया। पहली विश्व जंग, दूसरी विश्व जंग हुई। क्यों? शक्ति का दुरुपयोग हुआ। मानव की तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि की सर्वोच्च शक्ति का दुरुपयोग ही मानव के विनाश का कारण है। और अभी जैसे कनोरिया जी की पोती ने एक बात कही थी कि ये भगवान हमें शिक्षा दे रहा है, जो कोरोना आदि जो संक्रामक रोग आए हैं तो वो हमें प्रभु की ओर से कुछ शिक्षा मिल रही है कि आप वापस सोचो। ये तो इनके विचार हैं, अच्छे विचार हैं, परंतु समस्या तो यह है कि जब शक्ति आ जाती है तो वहां पे अहंकार आ जाता है। अहंकार होते हुए मनुष्य सही दिशा में सोच ही नहीं सकता। वैसे तो जब कोई भी भावना प्रबल या प्रचंड होती है तो भावनाग्रस्त होते हुए कोई भी मनुष्य सही रूप में कोई निर्णय ले ही नहीं पाता। अब जैसे जिन देशों का मैंने आपसे जिक्र किया है, कंबोडिया, वियतनाम, अफगानिस्तान आदि आदि, तो इनमें जो विध्वंस किया गया है किन्होंने किया है? कम्युनिस्ट और कैपिटलिस्ट, जो अत्यंत शक्तिशाली देश हैं, जिनको क्या कहा जाता है? G8, ग्रेट 8, कभी G7 भी कह देते। इन्होंने ही किया है। क्यों? क्योंकि उनके पास तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि की शक्ति थी, उसके उपरांत उन्होंने उसके साथ पैसे की शक्ति जोड़ ली, माया की शक्ति जोड़ ली तथा उन्होंने बाहुबल की शक्ति भी जोड़ ली। क्योंकि प्रभु तथा प्रकृति की शक्ति के उपरांत संसार में तीन शक्तियां महान हैं। सर्वोच्च शक्ति है मनुष्य की तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि। इस तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि के साथ दो शक्तियां जुड़ जाती हैं, वो भी दोनों अपने आप में महान हैं, परंतु ये आपस में अलग अलग से ये इतना कार्य नहीं कर सकती जितना के तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि के साथ मिलकर करती हैं। और वो दोनों शक्तियां हैं बाहुबल, वो एक किसी मनुष्य का भी हो सकता है तथा लाखों की फौज का भी हो सकता है। लाखों की सेना या एक भी, कोई भी हो सकता है। इसी प्रकार से माया की, पैसे की शक्ति है। तो ये पैसा और बाहुबल की शक्ति, इन दोनों शक्तियों को मनुष्य की तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि की शक्ति ने ऐसा दुरुपयोग किया कि कितने लाखों लोगों को मार दिया और करोड़ों लोगों का जीवन मरने से भी बदतर कर दिया, बुरा कर दिया। और यहां तक कर दिया कि जैसे वियतनाम में तो उनकी कितनी पीढ़ियां ही, सेवरल जनरेशन जो हैं, कितनी पीढ़ियां वो भी बीमार ही पैदा होंगी, रोगी पैदा होंगी। नापाम बम और ऐसे ऐसे बम वहां पे फेंके गए। क्यों? क्योंकि गुरु के चरणों में जाकर हमने अपनी तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि की शक्ति का सद उपयोग करना सीखा नहीं है। गुरु यह शिक्षा देता है कि ये शस्त्र का, अस्त्र का प्रयोग सही दिशा में करना है, दुष्टों के लिए करना है, किसी गरीब पे, किसी असहाय पे नहीं करना है। यह शिक्षा तो गुरु के पास से ही आ सकती है, और वो इसीलिए गुरु शिष्य परंपरा सर्वोपर है। और उसके उपरांत बात आती है अध्यात्म की। अध्यात्म अपने आप को जानना और सर्वव्यापी प्रभु को जानना तथा उनको एक करना। हमारी गुरुवाणी में सदगुरु नानक देव जी ने लिखा है, अध्यात्म कर्म करे ता साचा। जब अध्यात्म के कर्म करता है तभी ही वह सच्चा प्राणी है। अध्यात्म कर्म करे दिन रात्रि, फिर क्या होता है? निर्मल ज्योत निरंतर जाती। सदा के लिए उसके अंतर निर्मल ज्योति, जो मैल रहित ज्योति है, वो प्रज्वलित हो जाती है। अब प्रश्न यह होता है कि निर्मल ज्योति या अध्यात्म का ज्ञान होने के उपरांत क्या मनुष्य बाकी संसार से बिल्कुल टूटकर अलग हो जाएगा, या उसको बाकी लोगों के दुख नहीं दिखेंगे? वैसे तो यह सभी का निजी अपना अपना उनका अनुभव है कि वो कैसे उस चीज को अनुभव करते हैं। परंतु काट काट में हरजू बसै संतन कहो पुकार, जो ब्रह्मंडे सोई पिंडे। जो प्रभु सर्वव्यापक है वो मेरे अंदर भी है, क्योंकि मैं यह पांच भौतिक शरीर नहीं हूं। मैं पांच भौतिक शरीर नहीं हूं। मैं तो वह शक्ति हूं जो सर्वव्यापक है, और वो मेरे अंदर भी है। परंतु यह अहंकार से नहीं, यह विचार से तथा नम्रता से प्राप्त होती है यह अवस्था। तो अब उसका एक प्रमाण जो हमारे सिख धर्म में हुआ है वह आपके समक्ष रख रहा हूं। मेरे विचार से सबसे पहले तो जब तक हम निर्मल कर्म नहीं करते, अपने आप को संयम में, संतोष में नहीं लाते, शुभ कर्म नहीं करते, तब तक हमें अध्यात्म की प्राप्ति या उस रास्ते का चलना भी कठिन है। और उसके लिए हमें दया धारण करने की आवश्यकता है, निम्रता आनी चाहिए। जब तक हम नम्र नहीं है तब तक हमारे में कोई गुण धारण नहीं हो सकता। जब तक हम गुण धारण नहीं करेंगे, गुरु की शिक्षा को धारण नहीं करेंगे, तब तक हम कुछ भी प्राप्त नहीं कर सकते। इसलिए अपने को सर्वप्रथम तो गुरु धारण करके अपने आप को नम्र करके गुरु के सामने समर्पण करने की आवश्यकता है। तो हमारे गुरु जी ने जो शिक्षा दी है उस शिक्षा के अनुसार भाई कन्हैया जी ने सदगुरु गोबिंद सिंह 10वें पातशाह जी के समय उन्होंने जो लोग गुरु जी पर तथा अपने साथ में सिख भाइयों पर भी हमला करते थे, आक्रमण करके उनको मारने वाले भी थे, उनको भी पानी पिलाया और अपने साथियों को भी पानी पिलाया। मतलब यह है कहने का कि उन्होंने समदृष्टि रखकर सभी में प्रभु रूप देखा, अपना आप देखा। तो जब गुरु जी के पास उनकी बात पहुंची कि वो तो ऐसा कर रहे हैं कि हम जिनको मार देते हैं या जिनको घायल कर देते हैं, उन लोगों को भाई कन्हैया जी जाकर उनको पानी पिला देते हैं और वो फिर उठकर लड़ने लगते हैं। तो गुरुजी ने बुला के पूछा, भाई तुम ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हो? तो भाई कन्हैया जी ने कहा, जी मैं किसी को पानी नहीं पिलाता। तो फिर किसको पिलाते हो? उन्होंने कहा, जी मैं तो सभी में आपको देख रहा हूं, मैं तो गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी को पानी पिला रहा हूं और तो किसी को पानी पिलाता ही नहीं, और तो है ही नहीं कोई, जो भी है वो सब गुरु गोबिंद सिंह है। तो गुरुजी ने उसको अपनी छाती से लगाया, हृदय से लगाकर उसको औषधियां भी दी साथ में कि जाओ आपकी अवस्था सर्वोच्च है। तो इसलिए आध्यात्मिकता, स्पिरिचुअलिटी का मतलब यह नहीं कि हम केवल ध्यान में ही बैठे रहें। ध्यान करने से ही हमें यह अवस्था प्राप्त होती है, इसमें तो कोई संशय नहीं कि ध्यान के बिना यह अवस्था प्राप्त नहीं होती। परंतु जब हम ध्यान करेंगे उसके उपरांत हमें प्राप्त क्या हुआ है उस पर विचार करने की आवश्यकता है। तो इसलिए अपने को मानवता का उद्धार करने की आवश्यकता है, और वैसे तो केवल मानवता नहीं, पूरी सृष्टि के सभी जीवों का उद्धार करने की आवश्यकता है, उनके साथ प्रेम करने की आवश्यकता है, पर्यावरण को बचाने की आवश्यकता है। हमारी आध्यात्मिकता, हमारी स्पिरिचुअलिटी तभी है। यदि हम बाकी जीवों पे अत्याचार करते हैं, बाकी मानवों पे अत्याचार करते हैं, तो हम स्पिरिचुअल, हम अध्यात्म नहीं हो सकते, किसी प्रकार नहीं हो सकते। इसी कारण हम अपने गुरु जी की शिक्षा को लेकर हम नामधारी संगत एक ऐसा कार्य कर रहे हैं, और मैं आप सभी से भी निवेदन करता हूं कि आप भी ऐसा कार्य कीजिए जिससे कोई भी मनुष्य काला, गोरा, भारतीय, वियतनामी तथा अफगानी कोई भी हो, वह 2 समय की रोटी के बिना ना रहे, वह भूखा ना रहे, वो अनपढ़ ना रहे। ही मस्ट बी ए लिटरेट पर्सन, नॉट इलिटरेट। उसके लिए हमारा प्रयत्न यह चल रहा है कि हम जो भी अत्यंत गरीब बच्चे हैं, झुग्गी झोंपड़ी में रहते हैं, उनको जाकर हमारी बेटियां, हमारी बहनें नामधारी संगत की विद्या दान देती हैं। अब संभव है कि कुछ लोग पूछेंगे कि विद्या का शक्ति से तथा आध्यात्मिकता से क्या संबंध है। मैं स्पष्ट करता हूं कि जब तक विद्या ही नहीं है तो अध्यात्मक शब्द को ही कोई नहीं समझ पाएगा, और विद्या के बिना कोई भी शक्ति अर्जित करनी असंभव है, संभव नहीं है। इसलिए सबसे पहले विद्या चाहिए, लिटरेसी। फिर एजुकेशन, पहले लिटरेसी फिर एजुकेशन। और यह इसलिए यह कार्य कर रहे हैं कि वह लोग अपने आप में अपनी रोटी कमाने के लिए, अपने परिवार को पालने के लिए वह लोग समृद्ध हो पाए। जब तक उनकी रोटी नहीं चलती, उनको सिर के ऊपर मकान नहीं है, रोटी कपड़ा मकान, जब तक यह नहीं है, आध्यात्मिकता की भाषा कोई गरीब समझ ही नहीं सकता। जब तक वह कैक है आदि कोई भी अपनी मातृभाषा पढ़ा नहीं है, जब तक वह अनपढ़ है यानी कि इलिटरेट है, तब तक वह आध्यात्मिक शब्द की परिभाषा नहीं समझ सकता, वह ध्यान नहीं कर सकता। जिसके पेट में रोटी नहीं है ना, इसीलिए हमारे गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी में लिखा हुआ है, भूखे भगत न कीजे, भूखे भगत न कीजे, यह माला अपनी लीजे। भूखे भूखे में भक्ति नहीं होती है, अपनी माला ले जाओ प्रभु। तो इसलिए अपने को सबसे पहले उन ये क्या हो गया?
So your gift will end up in the right hands or mouth, because being there for each other is priceless.
ये कुछ बीच में चल पड़ा है जी, क्या चल रहा है?
In fact, this is, I think your phone is interfering with this.
No,
Can you just fix it at your end?
I can hear you, but I don't know what is happening. Sorry, I don't know. No, just hold on, please. No, I apologize for any inconvenience.
Not at all, not at all.
मैं क्षमा चाहता हूँ, पता नहीं ये किधर से क्या हो गया अपने आप। मैंने
No, but it's fixed now.
Okay, yeah. इसलिए मेरी सभी से यह विनती है कि हम जो भी हमारे भाई बहन मानव जाति अभी तक अशिक्षित हैं, उनको शिक्षा देनी आरंभ करें। और शिक्षा देने का यह लाभ होगा कि वह अपने लिए अपना भोजन अर्जित कर पाएंगे। और दूसरा, जब वो शिक्षित होंगे तब उनको हम यह भी समझा पाएंगे कि आप बच्चे कम पैदा करो ताकि जनसंख्या कम हो, क्योंकि जब तक हमारी पृथ्वी की जनसंख्या ही कम नहीं होती तब तक कोई भी सरकार, कोई पार्टी, कोई भी प्रतिदिन प्रति व्यक्ति, हर व्यक्ति को भोजन नहीं दे पाएगा, गरीबी नहीं हट सकती। इसलिए जनसंख्या कम करने के लिए भी उनको शिक्षित करने की आवश्यकता है और उनको आध्यात्मिकता, स्पिरिचुअलिटी समझाने के लिए भी उनको शिक्षित करने की आवश्यकता है। इसी कारण हम यह कार्य अपने गुरु की शिक्षा के अनुसार, गुरु की कृपा से कर रहे हैं कि हम उन गरीब बच्चों को विद्या दान देकर उनको यह समझा रहे हैं कि आपने बुरे कर्म, नशा आदि करके अपना जीवन खत्म नहीं करना है और किसी के ऊपर अत्याचार नहीं करना है। इस प्रकार की शुभ शिक्षा देकर और उनको प्रेम करके तथा उनको विद्या दान देकर उनको अपने पैरों पर खड़े कर रहे हैं। इसलिए मेरी विनती सभी से यह है कि अध्यात्म का जो ज्ञान है वो गरीब के लिए एक अलग प्रकार का है, अमीर के लिए अलग प्रकार का है। इसलिए गरीबों को, मानव जाति को ऊपर उठाने के लिए यदि जितने हम जो भी शिक्षित लोग हैं मानव जाति के, या मैं ऐसे कहूं कि जो पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं उनको चाहिए यदि वो आधा घंटा समय भी निकाल लें, just 30 minutes if they can spare to teach the poor, और यदि इतना भी कर लें तो इससे हम पूरी मानव जाति को, पूरे विश्व की मानव जाति को 10 साल में पढ़ा देंगे। जब 10 साल में वो पूरे सब पढ़ जाएंगे तो उसके उपरंत एक तो वो अपनी रोटी कमाने के लिए समृद्ध हो जाएंगे, तथा दूसरा वह बच्चे भी कम पैदा करेंगे, उससे भी जो गरीबी की समस्या वो कम हो जाएगी। और तीसरा, उसके उपरंत जब हम उनको आध्यात्मिकता की बात करेंगे तो वो हमारी बात भी समझ पाएंगे। इसके विपरीत जो हमारे मानव जाति के भाई जो अच्छा खासा खाना खाते हैं, जिनको इंग्लिश में मिडिल क्लास कहते हैं, तथा जो बहुत ही समृद्ध हैं सभी प्रकार से, उन सभी को गुरु चरणों में जाकर गुरु से यह शिक्षा मिलनी चाहिए कि आपको शुभ कर्म कैसे करने हैं, बुरे कर्म त्याग कैसे करने हैं। और गुरु भी हमें वह चाहिए जो हमें सही दिशा में लेके जाए। गुरु वह नहीं कि जो तेरे पास है वह मुझे दे दो, मुझे इतना बड़ा हवाई जहाज चाहिए, मुझे इतने हीरे जवाहरात चाहिए, तभी मैं आप पे प्रसन्न होऊंगा, तभी आपको वर दूंगा। नहीं, गुरु स्वयं निष्काम होगा तभी उसके शिष्य भी निष्काम होंगे। और जब तक हम निष्काम नहीं होते, आध्यात्मिकता की प्राप्ति हो ही नहीं सकती। निष्काम का मतलब यह नहीं कि जो भी हमारे जीवन की आवश्यकताएं हैं उनको भी छोड़ देना है। निष्काम का मतलब यह है कि गुरु की निष्कामता इसमें है कि गुरु शिष्य को इसलिए शिक्षा नहीं दे रहा है कि वह मुझे इतनी माया देगा। नहीं, गुरु तो उसका जीवन ऊंचा करने के लिए, जैसे दीपक से दीपक जलता है ऐसे उसको जला के उसके अंदर प्रकाश करने वाला है। वह उपदेश गुरु देता है, जिसके लिए हमारी गुरुवाणी में गुरुजी ने लिखा है, ज्ञान अंजन गुर दिया अज्ञान अंधेर विनाश। गुरु ने ज्ञान का काजल डाला आंखों में और अज्ञान का तिमिर चला गया। ऐसा गुरु निष्काम चाहिए और उसके शिष्य भी ऐसे तभी ही निष्काम बन पाएंगे। और जब वह निष्काम होंगे, शुभ कर्म करेंगे, तब दूसरे देशों पे जाके वो बम नहीं बरसाएंगे, हथियारों की फैक्ट्रियां बंद हो जाएंगी, क्योंकि हमें अध्यात्मक होना है। तो अध्यात्मक व्यक्ति जो है वह हिंसा और इस प्रकार का लालच नहीं करता कि बाकी गरीबों पर जाके बम बरसाए जाएं। इस कारण मैं आप सभी को यह विनती करता हूं कि मानव जाति के जितने मानव जो असमृद्ध हैं उनको समृद्ध करने के लिए हम सभी प्रयत्न करें और सर्वप्रथम उनको विद्या दान दें, ताकि वह अपनी रोटी कमा सकें, बच्चे कम पैदा करें और हमारी आध्यात्मिकता की शांतिमयी शब्दों की व्याख्या वह समझ पाए। अभी तो वह समझ ही नहीं पाएंगे कि इसका अर्थ क्या है, क्योंकि उनके लिए तो आध्यात्मिकता का मतलब रोटी है। दूसरी बात शक्ति की। शक्ति मानव जाति की सर्वोच्च शक्ति है, इसकी तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि। अब वो तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि के साथ पैसा तथा बाहुबल, तो ये इन दोनों का प्रयोग तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि ही करती है। तो वह तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि जो है, उस तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि का प्रयोग पूरे विश्व के उद्धार के लिए, उसको अच्छा करने के लिए होना चाहिए, क्योंकि धर्म हमें यही शिक्षा देता है, धर्मो धर्मे रक्षते। इसलिए हमें शक्ति का प्रयोग भी शक्ति का प्रयोग पृथ्वी के पूरे पर्यावरण के तथा मानव जाति के उद्धार के लिए, उसको समृद्ध करने के लिए होना चाहिए। तथा अध्यात्म का एक बहुत ऊंची अवस्था है, परंतु वह अवस्था प्राप्त करने के लिए भारतीय परंपरा के अनुसार गुरु शिष्य की परंपरा धारण करके हमें अपनी मानसिक अवस्था ऐसी करनी चाहिए जिसके लिए हमारे सदगुरु अमरदास जी, तीसरे गुरु जी ने उच्चारण किया है, ये नेत्रो मेर्यो हर तुम में जोत तरी, हारे बिन अवर न देखो कोई। प्रभु ने ऐ मानव तुझे शक्ति दी है, इन नेत्रों के रास्ते देखने की शक्ति दी है, तो उस प्रभु की शक्ति का उपयोग ऐसे करो कि सभी में प्रभु को देखो और किसी को भी ना देखो। जब यह अवस्था आ जाएगी तो फिर कौन किस पे बम बरसाएगा, कौन किस पे बम बरसाएगा? ना को बैरी ना है बेगाना, सगल संग हमको बने आई। गुरुजी कहते हैं मुझे कोई भी बैरी तथा बेगाना, कोई दुश्मन नहीं दिखता है, सभी में प्रभु दिखता है। जब सभी में प्रभु दिखेगा तो हम लोगों की सेवा करेंगे। तो मेरे विचार अनुसार यही आध्यात्मिकता है कि जो मेरे में है वो सभी में है, और वह प्रभु सर्वव्यापक है। वो सभी में देखने के लिए गुरु चरणों में जाकर अच्छी शिक्षा लेकर हम निर्मल कर्म करें तथा मानव जाति का उद्धार करके सबको विद्या दान देकर उनको समृद्ध बनाएं तथा उनको आध्यात्मिकता की शिक्षा देकर उनको भी शांति प्रिय अच्छे मनुष्य बना लें। तभी हम स्वयं भी आध्यात्मिक बन सकते हैं और बाकी सृष्टि को भी आध्यात्मिक बना सकते हैं। इसी प्रकार से ही हमारी पृथ्वी पर रहने वाली सभी जातियां प्रजातियां सुखी हो सकती हैं। मैं इन शब्दों के साथ डॉक्टर कनोरिया जी तथा सभी प्रबंधकों का, आयोजकों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं जिन्होंने मुझे यहाँ इतना सत्कार देकर बुलाया है। आप सभी का बहुत धन्यवाद। गुरु जी कृपा करें। नमस्कार। जय भारत।
Sadhguruji, thank you so much for sharing your views, which are spiritual and practical at the same time. So thank you very much for being part of the 14th World Confluence. But all good things come to an end, at least temporarily. We are absolutely looking forward to next year, 2022, and hoping, keeping our fingers crossed that we would be able to meet face to face, have a physical program rather than this virtual platform. Although this virtual platform has served us well, at least we have been in touch. We could do the 14th edition of the World Confluence of Humanity, Power and Spirituality. And the spirit behind this spiritual conference, the driving force, Dr. Hari Prasad Gonorrhea, would have the final say in this matter, and he would be proposing the vote of thanks to bring the 14th edition of the World Confluence to its conclusion. Dr. Hari Prasad Gonorrhea.
While concluding the 14th World Confluence of Humanity, Power and Spirituality, I am privileged to propose the vote of thanks to our speakers for their gracious presence and deliverance. And I thank all the viewers who listened to the delivery to dignitaries and speakers from different walks of life with apt attention in the spirit of spirituality. All are feeling that we are manifested by the God in His own image. We are His children. We are divine and perfect. We all are intelligence, wisdom, and strength. The sense of all religions is to work hard, righteously, selflessly, with devotion for the welfare of humanity in consciousness of God. We all have to have cosmic cooperative spirit, harmony and peace, Our motto has to be happy and make others happy. Let live in harmony and peace. Brahman Sri Ramakrishna said, service to humanity is service to God. Jeev Seva is Shiv Seva. Jesus Christ said, only right in the world is to give, to serve. Be content to serve the world. Prophet Muhammad had faith in God, love him, serve humanity. God is unity and he likes unity. All the speakers have said in a different way, but the aim and motto is the one. Look to know. Connect the spirit within for healing. It exists within all. Swami Suparanandi, General Secretary of Ramakrishna Mission, Gurpar. Those who serve, worship human being, they are God. Simarjit Singh, give your best every day. Work hard. Chant name of God. Share with others what you have. Live life with divine. Serve others. Bhikkhu Sanghini. A spirit is needed in a positive and contributive way. A spirituality is needed in the positive and constructive way. Sunil, our motto of our family is to work righteously with devotion. They were Acharya, Dr. Lokeshwar, ignite the human value, make one fearless. Dr. Stephen Thompson, make effort to be close to God. Om, be still and know that I am He and my God is I and my God is one. Avanishri Gonorrhea, COVID pandemic, God has given the spiritual to reflect within, become crucial aspect. Nature, we content ourselves. Sadhguru Dilip Singh say, संतोष, संयम अध्यात्म का लक्ष्य है. अपने को जानो, सर्वव्यापी प्रभु को जानो. अपने को जानोगे तो सर्वव्यापी प्रभु को जानो. निर्मल हृदय से सर्वव्यापी प्रभु को याद करो. सर्वव्यापी प्रभु सबके अंदर में है. गुरु को समर्पण करो, उनकी शिक्षा पर चलो. इसलिए सिख धर्म में गुरु ग्रंथ को ही माना जाता है. कोई गुरु की पूजा नहीं की जाती है. गुरु अमृतसर गोल्डन टेम्पल में आप जाएंगे तो गुरु ग्रंथ की ही पूजा हो रही है. His Holiness Rajeshwar Guruji said, humanity is first responsibility of all human beings. Spirituality gives us power to be happy and overcome all the difficulties. Holy Sayyid Salman Chishti, by service we can reach divinity. Dr. Stephen Thompson, Om word, chant the name of Om. When the word has come, there was the vowel, Om, Amen, Amen. Whole world is our family. Live according to the fine regulation of the absolute will. Dame Professor Miha Moose, spirituality covers all religions. Righteousness, good work, service to humanity should be our only motto. We have heard what Ramakrishna has said, what Lord Krishna has said to Arjuna, work hard with devotion. Do not look for the reward. Reward is in my hand. Prophet Muhammad had also said, have the faith in God serve humanity, God in unity, and He lies unity. Among the diversity, there has to be unity. The world has been facing serious problem of COVID-19 and Omicron, poverty, global warming, and hunger. With power of facility, we need not to fear, but to serve. Let us imbibe a spirituality in yes to be infused with humility, hard work with devotion for the welfare of the universe. Save Mother Earth, help, not fight, assimilate, not destroy. Thanks to all the speakers and viewers. Thanks all.